Hello, everyone. Welcome to Babies with Knives with a cross venture with Penny for a Tale today. For our viewers, I am going to be playing Electra. She is a race car driver. Based on my little bit of reading for the game so far, which isn't as far as Mitch, who's representing the company, I get the impression that it's a little bit like Kingsman. So I kind of got the impression of Kingsman. So this is going to be interesting. It's kind of that 1960s, 1970s James Bond vibe a little bit, and that's got me really excited. But I'll be playing a race car driver. And over to the right over there, you'll see Jacob Blackman. He is the also known as the prolific prodigy duck artist. Hey, Jacob.
Hello. Today I'm going to be playing Eloise Gerard, who is an aspiring student, tech genius, and tired, overall redheaded child.
Awesome. And then we have below him Matt Frisbee. I don't know how we're laid up over on Penny for a Tale, but over on BWK, Matt Frisbee, aka Mr. Metaverse. He is currently writing a game called Metaverse. That's the reason we call him that. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Alice. Hello, everybody. I'm going to be playing Harry Fitzroy, who is an intrepid explorer, British, I believe, and not the stodgy British that you would expect. He's more of the adventuring British type who fought in the Great War, or actually the Second Great War, is how they would refer to it. Basically, the adventuring type. He likes to explore. He likes to go kicking around the world because he's been everywhere, done everything.
Awesome. And a newcomer to Babies with Knives community, we have Jonas.
I'm Jonas. As he said, I'm new. I play Paul Marchid. I think that's right, hopefully. He is a cat burglar, I believe. He has worked with the French Marquis, I guess during the Great War, or the war they had. They kind of call him the French Robin Hood, but it's more like he doesn't steal from the innocent and poor people, but he goes around what he is. I think he might be a bit of a card. Let's see how he goes, but thank you for letting me join in.
Looking forward to having you with us. So Mitch, why don't you take us away?
And I am Mitchell Wallace from Penny for a Tale, but today I am representing Helmgast for their amazing Kickstarter game Troubleshooters, which is currently running on Kickstarter. It's about 11 more days from today, and if you are someone who likes the 1970s European comics such as 1010 and like to go on epic adventures, Troubleshooters is definitely for you. So your characters, and you guys have read through kind of like the description of your characters, and two of you have this amazing plot hook. In some regards, they are, for this adventure, almost main characters, in that their whole job is to bring everyone else along for the ride and kind of group everyone together with their drama. And the reason why they are currently in Greece, which is where we will be at today. So this scenario takes place around 1965 in Greece. You guys are all taking a lovely plane ride over there via the international airport over at Ellinikon, just off the coast. And from there, you will take a bus or taxi, depending on the type of person you are, into Athens. So the flight to Athens in of itself is uneventful. The service on board is great, and the view is spectacular. Beautiful airways, beautiful waters. And after you disembark, you guys know that you have to go through immigration and customs, which may or may not be a problem for some of you guys. So as we kind of zoom in on everyone at the airport, what's on everyone's mind? What are you wearing? What luggage do you have on you? Whoever wants to start off, just go ahead.
What rubbish is this? Where's my car?
So you're standing in line at this this customs area, speaking.
Better not have a scratch on that baby.
The kind of customs officer is rubbing his head. I'm I'm sure it's and he's kind of looking over your passport. I'm sure it's fine. Should be right outside. There's a place. There's you can of course probably baggage and claim, right? That's where you would put it.
Why are we bothering with your car? I'll just get us a lift. She opens her laptop and starts typing.
There's no replacing Bessie. Look,
Your name,
here's a few
your
quid.
car.
Who doesn't?
Well, looking at the customs report, I see a car, but it doesn't have a name on it. Oh man, that's unfortunate.
The only woman in the cars.
Yeah, and the name is Bessie. You said.
Oh, his name's Bessie. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. It looks like everything is through. Really, the only last step is for you to get your luggage, and I think just head out.
My luggage would have been basically checked in the trunk of my car. I didn't really want to, I wouldn't have bothered otherwise. So.
A smart traveler. How about everyone else?
As this is about going on and see this conversation, Paul is just sitting there quietly. He's wearing like nondescript clothes. He's kind of wearing what his outfit looks, but he's actually wearing like a hat, but it's more like the old little flat hat with the little over. And he's just playing with a couple cards, like a pack of cards, flipping them over, like nope. And as he's looking at that, he's actually looking around. He's actually scoping. It's like target, nope, maybe, who knows? And he's just like, he if he wants to get up, he's like, if I can pocket this, pocket that, checking out the cameras, just scoping out the places, and he's just getting himself to practice.
All right. Is there anything in particular you are curious about acquiring? And do you already have with you several things you probably didn't list on your customs report?
Well, he does have his lock picks, his mighty nice little flashlight. He's actually looking at probably a businessman coming in, probably American. He just flashes money. He's like, might need a little extra of that. So, he stands up, letting the group, do what they're doing. He just slowly walks through, and he kind of like, oh, excuse me, sir, and just trying to see if he can pocket something.
All right, well, let's go to our first role of the game, which would be a great introduction to the system mechanics on here. So if you look under skills on your character sheet, you'll know there are percentiles, and much like other percentile systems, you're trying to match that number or below with the percentile dice. Now, this is something that kind of changes the mechanics a little bit. So instead of different difficulties, we have something called pips. With the addition of pips would make it more easier. With a subtraction of pips would make it more difficult. For this case, everyone's tired. It's a long flight. People really aren't that aware of things around them. So I'm going to give you a +1 pip. And what that means is when you roll your percentile dice, if your ones place falls within the pip area, so for +1 pip, it's just a 1, you succeed regardless of what the 10 says. That makes sense?
Okay.
Yep.
And am I rolling sneak, subterfuge, or would I roll agility?
Oh man, I really think that depends on how you're doing it. You said you were kind of bumping into someone, so that might be a little bit more so into subterfuge to kind of pass away any concerns of why you were bumping into them. But also a quick search might do it.
I think I'll do search because that seems like my best bet for that.
All right.
And I have to roll less than 65%?
Correct. Yeah, 65% or lower.
Well, I rolled a 28. Does that work well?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, and I have a question. Is that the better I do, like the lowest number? So, like, if I roll a 1, is there like a crit success or anything like that for that?
So for we'll get into that a little bit later on with kind of the longer scenes, the less detailed scenes, and there are benefits to what your number is concerning the roll. But for this sort of thing, it's either success or fail, and of course fail moving forward. So why don't someone describe what exactly our gentleman thief has pickpocketed from this individual?
The
What are some
1960s, you said?
ideas? Yeah.
Well, I say a lot of things, so somebody else do it this time.
He has
Jacob.
purloined a money clip.
Ooh. Is there money associated with this money clip?
There's a small amount. Of course, it's probably all in drachmas. So, yeah, I would say there's probably, a day's worth of expenses in there. So probably a couple thousand drachmas in there.
There you go. So you put said newly acquired items, slipping it into your pocket, a nice wry smile on your face, knowing that, hey, it's just as easy here as it is everywhere else. And how about Harry?
Harry, while he's sitting there waiting to get through customs, is looking for Elena. I believe that's how it's pronounced, or Elena, who is the granddaughter of the archaeologist who has invited me out here to take a look at his digs, which is why I'm packing along a lot of my field gear today. And I'm wearing, basically hiking attire for the 1960s. So, the big hobnob boots, the flannel shirt. Let's see. What do they call the wool pants? I keep wanting to call them tweed, and I don't think that's right.
I mean, you can say that, and we'll just
Houndstooth?
Houndstooth. Thank you. That's what we're looking for. So houndstooth pants, a flannel shirt, and of course a walking stick.
Excellent. So as you guys all get past customs and everything, everyone except for Electra, of course, has to wait for their bags to kind of go around the little roundabout. And as time passes, more people trickle away as they grab their bags. One kid gets on the little conveyor belt and rolls off of it at one point in time.
Do we know each other? Clearly I know Eloise.
Mm-hmm. I think that is up to you guys.
Well, I have associated, according to my backstory, I've actually associated with Electra at one point or another, so I would know her at the very least.
Excellent.
Happy to be traveling along with her again, of course.
Someone has to be my chaperone. Otherwise, I'd be in school right now.
Maybe you hired the cat burglar to assist you on this venture.
Sure, you look trustworthy. Why not?
Yes, I had that kind of
Him,
face.
I'll choose him. He's my chaperone.
Oh, I did have a quick question. Is it as we going through? Is it does this place the whole like the airport sell like toys and such? Because I would like to acquire a couple like little bags of marbles.
Yeah, I mean, the revenue for every airport, the foundation is the gift shop. So of course there's going to be marbles that you can purchase and acquire.
Oh yeah, so he goes there like with his new round wealth, and he's like, he goes over and he buys like 2 little small bags of marbles, and he's like, I'm getting this for my nephew, and he's just talking over the probably like the cashier, pretty young lady, kind of gives us a wink, and it's like, hey, how you doing? And he just looks about, it's like, oh, thank you, he just gives her a little extra money as a tip. It's like, good to see you again. And he just walks away. He just pockets it.
Nice. So as you guys are all kind of relaxing and waiting for this conveyor belt to eventually give up its
I'll be in the
treasures.
Go
ahead.
While they're doing that, oh Harry, I'll be out in the pub. You're all taking too long. I'll be out in the pub.
And it doesn't look like your bags are coming in. Like it gets to that point where you are awkwardly standing there, and then you start to notice that the next round of luggage is starting to come through as the next flight comes in, and everyone starts pushing their way up front. But your luggage has yet to come through that conveyor belt.
I brought skis. I was told there would be skiing. Where are my skis?
What's the
Well,
luckily
time
for
to
me?
go
I
have
have
a
my little
look.
carry-on. It's like I carry light.
Like I said, I was waiting in the airport bar for them. I was waiting in the pub.
Right.
Excellent.
Well, I think it's time for me to pull a little bit of rank. So I'm going to go find somebody who looks like an official, and I will use my ability as a member of the peerage to try to get some answers.
Excellent.
Oh, what is this whole fool doing?
Yeah, so one person you come across is really this man with that little airport uniform. It's just his blue vest, white shirt underneath it. He looks pretty young, probably early 20s, and he's resting his elbow on the counter, talking to a very pretty woman on the other side of it.
Pardon me, young sir. I would like to have your attention for a moment.
All right, you have it. How can I help
Good.
you, sir?
I'm Sir Harold Fitzroy, with many different accoutrements on the end of that. But to be perfectly honest, I have been waiting for my luggage, which has failed to be produced upon the conveyor belt over here. I would like someone to go find it immediately.
Oh,
It's fairly clearly labeled with my monogram.
which is real quick again?
Oh, of course.
Okay,
Yes. And I give him the letters H
Mhm.
something F.
All right. And can you describe the bag for me, sir?
Yes. Well, most of it is camping gear, to be perfectly honest. Wrapped up in canvas bags. Very, very easy to spot. It's not your typical luggage, so to speak.
All right.
There
Sure,
may
sure.
also be a rifle case mixed in with all of that. Everything's on the up and up with that, though. I have all the permits.
All right. Yeah, I'll start looking like relatively now.
Yes, thank you.
And as he goes off, why don't you give me an alertness test?
I will give an alertness test. The alertness test is 45% or less.
And no pips on this one, so just
Okay.
45.
Well, I am not terribly alert today. I'm doing the Captain Oblivious thing. I'm 89 right now on a 45. So no, I think I missed it quite badly.
Ooh, all right. So in Troubleshooters, we always try to fail forward. So what happens? What can we add on to the scene that kind of complicates or makes things a little bit more interesting
He
based on it? Go ahead, Alice.
he failed because another crew was bringing in a bunch of luggage, and so there's this big luggage cart with a bunch of suitcases all over it, and he failed because all of a sudden he's like, maybe mine's over there, and he trips over the baggage and it flies everywhere. So there's a big cart of bags everywhere. Maybe his is in it.
That sound good to you, Harry?
That sounds just fine to me.
All right, and this
drat.
gentleman tries to help you up, and then looks at the notes that he put down and starts one by one going through the luggage. But
Oh, lad, stop looking at the regular luggage. It'll be a large canvas arrangement, like a duffel bag, lad.
All right. Just
Thank
just
you.
give me. Yep. Okay.
With carrying straps. There you go. A nice shade of khaki, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you.
And how about was it Eloise and Jonas? What are you two up to? Or sorry, Paul.
Eloise is going to look and see if her things are among the lost and found where Harry is gone. She doesn't ask. she just looks at everything, and if she doesn't spot them immediately, then she's going to go back to the carousel, the luggage carousel, and go through the little flaps to the back.
Oh, that's perfect.
Because obviously the adults can't get things done. She has to take charge and find her stuff.
So Paul, you're you were talking to this very pretty lady at the gift shop, and
Gross.
reminiscing about your nephew, and you kind of point off to where she was, and then you notice a little kind of red hair go into the conveyor belt flaps as it flaps down over this poof of red hair.
He sees this as like he kind of gives her a sly smile, like "Excuse me," and he basically runs in there, jumps feet first, go woo! Right after it's like not again.
Which quite comically has you two bump into each other as you guys slide down this conveyor belt. And now you two are in this maze-like place, and you notice several kind of trucks going by, moving luggage and the like. So one of you guys can perform a alertness check.
Try.
Just one of you.
Eloise hasn't gotten to make a roll yet. I vote Eloise unless she really
Go
starts
ahead.
at it.
I always help my Eloise out.
Okay.
I'm like, go ahead.
And adults can't handle it anyway.
Alertness, I don't have it. That means it falls back to my 15%, and I roll a 76.
All right, what can we add here to make this more dramatic?
Look, a security guard.
Yeah, you you look at the security guard, and as you're looking at the security guard looks at you, and there's kind of this, why is there this red-headed girl on the conveyor belt, as he quickly checks the manifest to see if that was included. Sees that no, it is not included. There are no little girls that are supposed to be transported, and then he looks back up just as the conveyor belt kind of slows down right in front of him as he looks at you two.
And she lets out a blood-curdling scream.
Whoa. Okay. Are you her father?
No, I'm a guardian. Were you trying to tempt this young girl down here?
Hold on, I had nothing to do with this. I just got here. My lunch break, I had a sandwich. I met tea with my mom, and I just got here, and I just signed in, and I see you two get off the conveyor belt.
I apologize, sir. My young ward is quite special at times. Look, Eloise, let us go.
Can I help you with something?
No, I think she was a little overexcited looking for her luggage, I believe.
Oh,
they took all my stuff.
Oh, geez, I am so sorry. Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's like I get down, I kind of like pick her up and sit her down. It's like I kind of said, "Let's go, Eloise," and I'm kind of looking like through the whole area. This kind of what I do. I'm like, what's the fastest way? Is this the best way you can show us back out?
I mean, actually, I have to walk you guys out. There's a key card and swipe stuff. Is she going to be okay?
Yes, she'll be fine. I'll give her the look over and then kind of like, please show us through.
Okay, sure. And so, like, after a couple of minutes of kind of winding around this maze of bags coming and going, he brings you out via the doors, out back into the lobby. And from the lobby, you can kind of look just down it to see the local pub. It's like surrounded by glass with these stone inlays on the top and the bottom of it. And you can definitely see a very interesting looking woman. Electra definitely has the image of an interesting person. Is your car parked out in front?
Well, I'm actually, so you're saying I'm outside at this point, not in the airport pub anymore?
No, it's kind of the airport pub at, at the front area.
Yeah, my car would be parked outside, and you guys would be seeing me argue with a waiter. Are you daft? I said chips! chips. What are these? And I'm holding up potato chips and throwing them at him. I ordered chips.
That's chips. I don't. What are you looking for exactly here, Miss?
Potatoes, fried, oil. Not these. I don't know what these are.
I can get you some Doritos, some Lay's.
Alex.
Is that no?
Start looking for someone who understands what real chips are.
You look around and what are the parameters for looking for someone who knows their chips?
Someone who has fish and chips in front of them ordered. Sure, we'll go with that.
So over on the side of the bar, and it's almost this extravagant scene as you turn your head looking for this promise of fish and chips, more specifically the chips. And at the bar, you notice a well-groomed, well-muscled individual with a white shirt. Definitely the bartender, as he kind of moves forward and places his elbow on the bar, and with his right hand pulls out a potato from this little basket.
Okay. I point at I get the waiter's attention, and I point at the guy with the fish and chips, and I said, that fit bloke there, that chips, fish, chips, chips.
Oh, you want
chips.
So you want the fish and chips without the chips?
Without the fish. I want chips.
Without you just want the, okay. Okay, got it.
What I'll do for Eloise and her favorite snack. I muttered to myself.
I will just go over there. And she kind of
obviously I'm ordering fries.
Yeah. She goes over to the kitchen staff, and you see her through like the glass of the door, kind of pointing to the bartender, who is still enjoying his chips with a nice side of a nice lager. But yeah, you notice Eloise and this I don't want to say creepy, but definitely
charming and very debonair man.
Very charming in debonair individual next to Eloise.
Okay. I'm going to grab the rest of my order that wasn't gotten wrong, and because they packed a bunch of packs of potato chips, and I put the potato chips out. I take the rest of the order and bring it out, and I go, Eloise, I ordered some of your favorites, but we're still waiting. But have a nosh, and I start pulling out the things that they didn't get wrong, and we're waiting on the chips. They didn't know what chips were. They kept giving me crisps.
What country are we in?
Greece.
What?
It's an international airport.
Yeah, the quality of any sort of bar and restaurant at an international airport is just above a 2, maybe.
Questionable.
Yeah.
So as I noticed, this woman recognizes Eloise. It's like, Eloise, you notice a beautiful young lady.
Yeah, she's like popular. She's like really popular. You do.
I point at my racing outfit.
Eloise is like, considering how educated and she's a know everything kind of girl. She's like, how do you not know things?
I don't watch many sports. I actually spend my time doing many of other things, actually living life. But since you know this young lady, I shall be back momentarily. There's a few things I need to see about our luggage. So behave yourself.
And just at that moment, you see Harry, as well as one of the airport staff approach. And the airport staff looks at you. It's just brown haired, kind of mousy face looking woman, very very cute, very kind of timid as she holds out several coupons. So sorry about your luggage. It is legally speaking, it is not the fault of the airport, but I assure you that if you call in tomorrow, we will make sure that your luggage is wherever you are, free of charge. And here are these little coupons. They provide you with a free fish and chips right here. See, isn't that great? So thank you. And she kind of hands one to Paul, to Eloise, as well as to Harry.
Fish and
Our
chips.
yes.
You've lost my luggage. I don't have a clean shirt to change into. I don't have any of the items that I brought along with me, and you're offering me fish and chips.
Well, yeah. Actually, if you
Harry,
look at
what's the cock up?
I'm trying to find out. I think I'm going to have to reach out and find somebody. So I'm going to use my ability of having been everywhere to find somebody at this location that might be able to help me out a little bit.
excellent.
So I'm expending a story point to get that.
Excellent. And so, for people who don't know, at the beginning of the adventure, everyone starts off with 4 story points. These story points can be used for either abilities, for changes in the scene, etc. And of course, you can find all this information on the Quick Start Guide on the Kickstarter. But it's kind of an awesome way to affect the narrative as you so please. So Harry has just spent his story point to find someone who can help, and before he heads out to find said person, the airport employee does say that the fish and chips can be exchanged for just a basket of chips. It's kind of in the small fine print, but I don't think
Which is
that's
all
really...
Greek to me and probably everybody else. But
Bum.
yes, I will go off and see if I can find one of my old associates from the good old days of the war.
Yeah, so kind of coming out from several of the doors that kind of list employees only, you notice a older man with a bushy mustache, who you know as Hernaldo. You guys definitely fought in the war together, but it looks like he's an aircraft pilot at this point in time, as he...
Hernando, chap, how are you?
Mr. Fitzroy, how are you doing?
Devilish. The airline seems to have lost our luggage. Would you happen to know someone I could get a hold of to perhaps get it back quickly?
Yeah, anything for an old friend.
I appreciate it greatly.
Usually it's the guys out in the tarmac. They sometimes they drop something. They take their time. They go on a lunch break. They eat a sandwich. They come back, and who knows what they've been doing in the meantime.
Beastly. No sense of urgency.
None at all. This is probably my least favorite airport to pop in and out of. But really, none of them are fun or good. It's just not. They just don't make them as they used to.
Well, the time definitely seems to have been kind to you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's it's something I try to take one step at a time each and every day. I have a wife now, kid on the way, and
very, very nice.
Thank you.
Perpetuating the line like that.
Yes.
Thank you, Harry. I don't want to bore you with the details of my life.
It's no boring at all. After all, I haven't seen you in ages, old man. Come, let's talk as we walk.
Excellent. Let's do so. And so he'll kind of walk, and you guys catch up. And he whispers something to one of the flight attendants, and about 30 minutes afterwards, as everyone kind of continues to stay at the airport, a cart filled with several pieces of luggage comes rolling down, with this kind of overset gentleman at the front of it, kind of looking around. But yeah, you three see your bags. Among
Capital,
other
you
things,
can park it right here.
Yeah, sure.
Right here.
Got it.
So what are the other things that besides the luggage that's there?
I mean, there's more luggage, several pieces of luggage, actually. It's kind of like looking at the lost and found, but more expensive.
I'm looking this over, and I was like, I was like, I'm looking at my luggage, just kind of opening a couple things to see right there. It's like, oh yes, grab something extra, just in case. It's like I might need that.
You're like, oh, my stilettos. Yep, I remember.
Yeah, I was like, oh, right. Like it's like my Armani tux that I've been looking for. He zips that. All right, I can use that.
Harry, Eloise, if we're done with these gormless, can we get rolling? My diary says we're running late.
Oh, well, certainly. Let's open up the vehicle and get it loaded, and then we'll go.
I
Eloise
open my
grabs
trunk
every-
where my luggage has been sitting and let you guys put it in. Sorry, Jacob, go ahead.
Eloise grabs everything. Her ski gear, carrying her ski gear around, it's just like a Great Dane puppy who doesn't understand the size of their dimensions, so it's just bumping into everything.
Several people are knocked out on the way.
I feed her a fry that arrived as she's trying to move around. I put a fry in her mouth.
So like the vehicle right there is like Paul looks up and is like, I don't believe that will fit all of us. Are we to take another vehicle or no?
Eloise doesn't call for it, she just takes shotgun.
Awesome.
Well, I did have a Range Rover coming through customs as well, but I see it's parked out there in the lot. Perhaps I'll go fetch it.
And then starts pushing the car's buttons.
Feel like a blast of wind. Your hair goes.
Convertible, unconvertible, convertible, unconvertible.
Well, it said I looked at Eloise. I wouldn't surprise you. She wouldn't. It's like, how could I make this better or take this apart? Kind of deal.
All right. So this enjoyable moment lasts for just a couple. As you guys know, at least some of you guys know that you're meeting your friend Elena at a local restaurant in the harbor of Piraeus. And after that, be taking you to the dig site.
The restaurant, the Argonauts, and I don't actually know where she's taking me. She just told me. She just sent me a message saying that she needs to meet me Monday, May 17th at this time. So, and I'm running late.
I'll come rumbling up in the Range Rover and say, Eloise, my dear, I do believe those skis will fit on the rack on top. If you'd be so kind.
As it's sticking out the back seat of my my car.
Perhaps I can assist you.
Actually, to be very honest, if you don't, as you're saying that, I see that your car's there. I take off with Eloise. I see that you're good. You're talking. We zoom off.
Always in a hurry, that one. Is there anybody left, or am I talking to myself?
I'm here. I look at you. It's like, if you don't mind, sir, I will take a ride with you.
By all means.
The ladies left.
No, not that side, sir. It drives on the other side. You need to come in over this side.
He has a small duffel bag and his nice Armani suit. He just got his hands on, stick it sitting in the back, hooks it up. It's like, there you go.
An Armani on an expedition.
Well, you never know.
You are brave.
You never know when you might need it.
It's like two sizes a little tight.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's either two sizes too big or two sizes a little small.
Well, it's like he does have a little bit of money if he needed to. He can get it resized.
It does not
there are many
matter.
very good tailors.
It does not matter how fast Electra is driving. Eloise succumbs to carcolepsy.
can you describe how you behave during narcolepsy? There you go.
Her hair kind of like flying off
Yep.
in the window.
Yep. Blocking my rear view window.
Yeah, who needs that, right?
Yeah, who needs that? I'm a
it's
race
optional.
car driver.
Mm-hmm.
First, the rule of Italian driving: what's behind you is not the important.
Exactly.
I love it. So the Argonauts is on the quay, which is about 3 kilometers long. The restaurant in of itself is small and, of course, specializes in traditional Greek cuisine. It is a plain white building with some tables and chairs placed outside. It kind of has a very rustic quality, and it's definitely a quality they lean on, with decorated seascape paintings and landscapes. There are several people in there as you guys park. But yeah, what do you guys do?
So how much of my car has wound up in his pockets?
I think about half of the car is currently sticking out of his right pocket.
Right, lad, put it all back, would you? I actually might need that sometime.
No, he's just looking out the oxen bins. It's like, ooh. It's like, no. Hey, what is this? It's like, ooh.
No. That's all survival gear now. We're going to need that. Going out on an expedition, you know. An archaeological expedition.
Yeah. He pulls out like a cigarette and lights it up.
Oh,
Pulls the window down.
please, don't smoke in my car. Out. Out.
Flicks it out.
All right.
Yes, I'm not going into the restaurant until I see him get out of my car and go to the restaurant.
No, you're just like watching him.
Just like kind of like a little smile while like walks up, straightening himself out, and he just kind of like looks over the place. It's like,
And then I will tap him very casually on the shoulder. Bullets for my rifle. I want them back, please.
You mean these? He just kind of pulls out a small bag.
Those
Oh,
beautiful brass ones. Yes, go ahead. Thank
there you go.
Thank you.
And as you turn, Paul, you see this very attractive looking woman, older, definitely probably late 40s, greeting you with several of these paper menus. Would you like to take a seat? Perhaps in a place where you can see out into the distance and the horizons, the beautiful waters?
I look at Harry and say, "Are we here to meet a young lady or such?"
Yes, we are. The granddaughter of an esteemed archaeologist, as a matter of fact.
I mean, this might be you. It's like, I don't really know this lady, but I mean, she might have us like a seat table for us. Do you believe?
I will look around and see if I can actually find Elena sitting around here anywhere.
You do not see her.
She's not here just yet. Why don't we sit somewhere where we can be seen?
So there's a nice bar over there. I can always get a drink.
Oh, capital idea. Let's go get a drink.
Oh, excellent. She motions.
I actually am going to go to the hostess stand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that I have a reservation.
Yes, Electra?
No, it's going to be under Georgios. Elena Georgios. She is to meet us here.
Oh, well, if I knew someone as famous as you was going to be here today, I feel like we would have made an event out of it. Though I understand you probably just want a nice and relaxing
a
lunch.
meal with my friends. Yes.
Of course. Yes, I have that name right here. Unfortunately, no, Elena has not hasn't checked in yet.
And I look at the time. Are we running late? Was she already supposed to be here?
Yeah, you guys are about like 40 minutes past the
Okay.
meet time.
Could you seat us, please? And
Yeah.
Can I borrow your restaurant phone?
Yeah,
Have
of
it brought
course.
to our table.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. She kind of dashes out, bringing this wired phone over from the
Running your
bar
phone.
and yeah, setting it before the table. And here are the menus. And let me get you glasses of water.
I'm gonna call Eloise.
You mean Lena?
Sorry, Elena. Yes, I'm gonna call Elena. Oh, and waitress, excuse me. Could
Yes.
Eloise could use a snack. So if you could please take her order
They
now.
got bread.
Yep. It looks like she
That's
is.
so funny.
Okay.
Let me know if you need anything, little one. Yep. She kind of heads on out to get you your water. As you dial in the phone, there's several minutes of ringing, and then just nothing,
Okay.
which is very odd. She's usually pretty good about answering the phone. Definitely not someone who dibbles and dathers.
Okay. At this point, I'm worried, so I'm going to. At this point, I'm worried enough that I'm going to say that I want to go and check her apartment, check her place.
All right, excellent.
I'm game if you are.
Okay,
Very well then.
let's go. Eloise, you riding with me?
Yeah, of course. She'll pocket every roll off the bread cart.
Okay, I'll leave a few quid for the bread and head out. Oh, and
Excellent.
since the hostess seemed to be a fan, I'll even leave an autograph on a napkin for the hostess.
Yeah, it's like Paul's just drinking. He just like gets finally get a glass. Like, I was like, what? Are we leaving already?
Yeah.
Like paste something. Like throw something down and say keep the change.
Awesome.
And
Harry looks wistfully at the bar and then says, "Oh well, business first."
So you guys head over to her apartment, which she actually lives with her granddad, who Harry knows, I do believe, correct?
Yes, I do. I know everybody. No.
Basically.
Yeah,
Been
I'm looking.
everywhere, talk to everybody.
Yeah. I'm looking over at the building, kind of like, looking at different escape routes. It's like how to get in, that kind of stuff. Find all of my way out. Always have like a couple back ways out.
Yeah, it's like in this town home, but really kind of like the set of row homes, about 3 sections into this into the streets from the waters. There is an alleyway to the left of it, with no windows peering out to it because everyone wants their windows to point out to the sea. You notice a chandelier on the front, as well as steps that lead up. The mail, surprisingly, doesn't look like it's been picked up. You see several newspapers lying out in front of the door, as well as kind of like the little mailbox right in front is stuffed. It looks like it's overpackaged. It definitely looks like the mailman had some frustrations with it because there's like little lump, not a lump. Part of the wood is kind of caved in from where you suspect he kicked it. But yeah, that's pretty much what you see of the townhome as is.
I'll pick up
Yeah,
her mail.
she's not here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pick up her mail and I'll look at when the longest date is, the oldest date on the mail is.
Excellent.
Or the newspaper.
Yeah, so it looks like Professor or herself have not looked at or picked any of this up for about a week.
A week. Okay.
That's not good. As this is going on, I kind of just slip out. And you said there's an alleyway on the side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So, as like, this is going through, it's like, Harry, I was like, I'm gonna take a look. He basically, he kind of slides out, and he's like nonchalantly walks like through the alley, kind of. As he's walking through, he was looking at each of the windows to see he can look in, and just in case he's like, if something's moved or anything like that. So he walks around the side of the building and see if there's a side door.
So, in this alleyway, there are no side doors, there are no windows, unfortunately. But this, if you would like, would be a great opportunity for you to spend a story point to make it so. So, for something like this, you would have to spend 2 story points to kind of add a minor detail, which could be just kind of like a little kitchen window.
Yes, actually, I would say I would use 2 story points, and there actually is a basement window. They have right there
Yeah.
that is basically slightly ajar, and he basically is looking about, and he basically picks up like maybe like a piece of pipe or something like that. Kind of pockets that a little bit and kind of looks in there, see if he can get through, and he can slinks in.
All right.
Meanwhile, from the front
Mhm.
door, as she is my friend, I would like to either spend a story point or just say that I happen to have her spare key. I've been everywhere, and she's probably someone I stay with when I'm here in this town. That way I don't have to stay in a hotel.
All right. We'll say 1 story point. You got
Awesome.
it. You have the
I'll
key.
spend the story point. So yeah, I'll go up, take her mail in, and unlock the door for us.
Excellent. So coming into this townhome, you definitely notice that for the most part everything looks okay inside. You have the dining room to the right, a little table, circular, wooden, with a bit of lacquer, kind of darker wood on the exterior. A radio sets upon it, and there are 2 striped couches in the corner, like an L. Further on down, you see the kitchen with several plants hanging from the ceiling. There's stairs that lead up, you assume, to their bedrooms, and there is a door, kind of uh, part way open on the staircase itself. Kind of like that wall that leads out in the hallway, and you hear some movement from what sounds like below.
I'm going to start moving that direction carefully.
Eloise is going to take advantage of one of the couches.
You just plop on it. You sink down in it. This is a well-used couch.
How well do I know the professor?
We'll say pretty well.
Okay, do I know that he works from home, or does he actually have does he actually work for a university or a private outfit somewhere?
He generally works, so he teaches at a university, as well as kind of has a affiliation with museums, kind of uh, gives advice and confirms different historical artifacts when it comes upon them. But he's tenured. He's well loved at the university that he has, which is
Okay.
local.
Then I'm assuming he's probably going to be keeping some notes or some journals somewhere, either in his bedroom or a study or a den. So I'm going to go upstairs and look for that.
Excellent. All right. So we have Eloise on the couch, sinking into it. We have a Paul who is rummaging in the basement. There's several shelves. A lot of things have the blankets covering them for protection. Probably kind of old artifacts or art and such like that. There's a large table with several brushes upon it, as
I
well
got my
as
flashlight looking around, kind of
journals.
like.
Yeah, and you hear creaks coming from the stairs, kind of slowly coming down.
Point my flashlight toward it.
Electra, you see this flashlight peer.
I'm gonna
Kinda
pull
your
out my
way.
wrench from my back pocket from this or from my side since I carry that all the time, and I'll have my wrench up from my little pack, and as I continue down.
All right. You definitely see the flashlight kind of wiggling about, almost searching for you. Are you just gonna jump down and see who it is, or are you gonna go try a more of a sneaky method?
I'm gonna kind of like aha kind of action. You know what
All
I mean?
right,
Jump
are you
down.
just-
Aha.
Yeah, are you just trying to surprise, or are you gonna try to whack it?
I'm gonna try and just whack the flashlight.
Awesome. All right, give me a melee test.
Sure. So I have strength, but I don't. Oh, there's my melee. Cool. I will roll my melee.
And Paul, give me a melee test as you defend.
26.
All right, so success, I assume?
Yes, sorry, that's a success. I have a 45 on that.
Excellent.
A 4?
Ooh.
It's like 0 and a 4. I'm like,
All right, so in the case of 2 successes, you see who has the higher percentile. So in this case,
I have a 45.
Electra, you smash this flashlight as it goes flying and hits the side of the wall. There goes your flashlight, Paul. But before you is Electra. You can kind of see her kind of from the sun.
yeah.
And then I realize it's Paul. Oh! Don't
It's like, really?
Don't scare me like that.
I walk up, pick up
How'd
my
you get in
flashlight.
here?
I point at, like, I show right there, like, the basement window. I was like, I came in to see if there was anything down here. There's at times, people may be hidden down here or such. I'm just kind of taking a look. Anything upstairs?
Didn't have a chance to look. Heard creeping downstairs. Apparently it was you. Couldn't even be a handsome bloke. A fit bloke. And I start walking back up the stairs at that point.
I kind of like, okay. And just keep going through, just kind of looking at the different stuff around. I'm like, is this valuable? No. And I see just like maybe like a climbing little pickaxe, like when you're doing climbing gear. I kind of like, that might be useful. So so as this is going through, there's nothing else. He goes upstairs. He goes upstairs, kind of click, and just puts it back into his satchel.
Excellent. So for Harry, why don't you go ahead and give me a search test?
All right. Well, let's see. I search on 45%, and I roll a 41.
Ooh,
so
nice.
41. Just barely got under there, but yes.
Excellent.
So I am searching for dig journals, maps, any kind of write-ups, any kind of papers he's written up about his recent archaeological expedition.
Excellent. So you pretty much find his office looking out towards the streets. It's a modest desk. You know that he's always been someone who was a little bit more efficient and definitely was more interested in books than kind of the space to read books. So this place is filled on all sides with these very tall wooden bookshelves stacked in several rows of these old books. He's a collector. He loves them. If it's anything that has to do with anthropology, culture, or the humanities, he grabs it and takes it. And yeah, there's this modest little desk with a little chair. The chair is kind of resting against the wall right next to the window. There is still a coffee cup on the ledge of the window, outlooking the street. It doesn't have anything in it, but definitely has kind of like the grime of coffee on the bottom of it. There are several papers on the desk itself. Looking through it, you definitely get a picture. It's kind of this. It looks like it's this black and white aerial view of this island, and on the top left of it, you see kind of written in cursive, Flakes.
Flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Flakes as in Flakes?
Filakes. There you go. I can spell.
Filakes, okay.
There you go. Filakes.
Filakes.
And kind of on the center of it, where the topography kind of goes up a little bit, you see a little X mark.
Okay. Just taking a wild guess and saying that this is possibly an old volcanic island. with the central peak, or is it just one of those standard islands out there that just is like the top of a mountain that's thrusting up out of the ocean or something?
Yeah, it looks from the topography. It looks like it's not even really a mountain. While it kind of slopes up, almost like a plateau. It definitely doesn't go very high. There's lots of woods that surround it, and there's even a lake on the island itself.
Okay.
You notice on the bottom right, kind of in this little cove, there is small markings that look like a pier. Just kind of.
All right.
Distance there.
Let's see. He's a man of books. I wonder if he has an atlas around here anywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm going to pull an atlas, look up Greece, and see if I can place the Philakis Island that I see here on the map, and
Excellent.
get a rough idea how far it's going to be from here.
Yeah, so you're looking at the map, and definitely, yeah, it's kind of on the southeast end of where you are currently. So you'll have to go down and further along the peninsula, kind of past the international airport, and then east to the to several islands, and the Falakis are one of them.
Okay.
So
Well, I will
You
borrow the
estimate-
atlas.
Yeah, you estimate it's probably like half a day by boat.
All right. And I will head back down with my booty. He doesn't smoke, does he?
He does have a pipe with some tobacco in one of the drawers.
I'll help myself to a bowl full as I head back down looking for a light.
you keep saying he. Aren't we in Elena's house? Or in her
Well,
house?
Elena lives with the professor.
Her grandfather?
Hmm.
Okay. Then I think I have something I'd like to do.
All right.
I'm going to go to her personal bathroom
Mhm.
where she and I, where, like I said, I would stay with them when I was in town, and to get some privacy, some girl time, sometimes pass messages back and forth. We had a little system behind the toilet that we would have a little hole behind the tile that we would hide stuff and exchange. So she would leave me tapes or letters if she needed to there, and I would leave her stuff as well. Like I would leave her, canisters of film of pictures I took that she's supposed to check out and stuff like that. So I will happily spend a story point for that. I'm gonna go check
Excellent.
our
Perfect.
exchange hole.
Perfect.
It's
So you looking back there, you find a scrolled up little letter, and there is an address upon it, and it's
Okay.
definitely in the city that you're in.
and this is much more to her personality since she generally writes me long letters. And the first one, the 3-word, show up here with an address was not her style.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. It looks like it was written in haste,
Okay.
and with less precision than what she's used to, or what
Okay.
you're used to with her.
What else did she write in this long letter then?
Other than that, it's very much this weird, like it doesn't make sense in the context that you read it in. It's almost as if she is writing to a friend concerning about a lovely dive she just learned about, with
A party
wonderful,
spot, stuff like that.
yeah,
Okay.
coffee shop right across the street, and then she kind of just mentions the address at the bottom of it, but even that to someone else this would just seem like a letter, but
Mhm.
you who know Elena know that
That she's
the
coded something.
yeah, the context is gone.
Okay.
That the important part is the address, and everything else is just kind of empty space.
Okay. So sure, I will come downstairs with it, with the little bag that it was in, and find anything.
Oh, a little bit. Apparently the dig is on Philakis Island, which is not too far from here, about a half a day's boat trip.
As he's saying that, I'm going over to the yellow pages, pulling the big yellow pages out, the thunk, and I'm starting to look through for the coordination of the address.
Perhaps I can help you with that. I do know a smattering of Greek.
Excellent.
Which, of
So
course, yeah.
You guys are poring over the yellow pages, trying to figure out like exactly what this this place is, um, and you guys know it's pretty much it is the most typical name you have ever heard for what it is, which is just Artifacts Incorporated.
Artifacts Incorporated. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have antiquities in it.
Yeah, it's like a horrible name as you look at it. You're like,
And my character does speak Greek apparently natively, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
no problem. It's just that she's been spending a lot of time in London lately, so she's picked up, she's been speaking in that slang.
yeah.
She's been everywhere. So yeah, she so if we find Artifacts Incorporated, by this point is Eloise asleep?
Eloise, are you? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh
she's
yeah,
out.
yeah. No, she found a couch and passed right out.
Yeah, you pretty
Okay.
much see the red hair like rise and fall over her face.
Okay. A quick question to you, Mitch. Are
Mhm.
we standard 1960s, 1970s technology? Because she was mentioning she pulled out a computer. And so I'm just imagining, the original laptops, which were as big as she was, basically.
I
suitcase,
I am
the
a
suitcase.
genius, mad scientist, inventor. It's
Yeah, it's kind of like
my
it's
computer.
smaller than what you're normally used to.
It's not this suitcase, it's this suitcase, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
this suitcase, but this suitcase. Okay.
It's
but
manageable.
Okay, so it's slightly ahead of time if you've got the right super science. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and definitely with every 1960s, 70s comic book, it should always, when turned on, have this like robotic voice that says hello.
She opens it up, turns it on. You take a rad.
Yeah.
as the monitor.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. You just walk that off.
She's the real inventor of the zip drive.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Zip
man.
drive prototype is what she's using. Okay.
Wow, she can program this thing in Fortran, not hexadecimal. Wow.
Okay.
We're going places.
Eloise. Miami. Harry,
Yes.
I think she needs you to pick her up again.
Oh, no problem. I'll blow a puff of smoke in her face.
Yeah.
There she is. She's awake now.
Kicking the shins.
Paul just laughs a little bit and just chuckles, and he just leaning against the wall, watching out toward the window.
Eloise, we're going to an artifacts place. Artifacts Incorporated.
Are we going antiquing?
Yes, we
Do
are.
I have to come?
Yes, you do.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like antiquities, really kind of like, like it has that little thief glint in his eye.
She'll gather her stuff, pick up her things, wipe the drool off the couch.
Big old stain.
Yeah, like it's like running down onto the carpet.
Okay, let's head.
Now then, off we go.
All right,
Yep.
and you go that little. That's
Squiggle.
yeah. As you guys.
I'm gonna drive very quickly and lose the Range Rover.
Oh.
Not a race, darling. Not a race.
It's always a race.
For her, yes.
What life have you been living?
Oh, one that's much longer than yours, my dear, but quite all right.
Yeah, so Electra speeds down while Harry is enjoying a nice drive through this area. You can see the
Oh, it's
water.
absolutely brilliant landscaping here, and the sea like a jewel glistens out there in the. I've totally lost you, haven't I?
Look,
Hey, he's snoring.
an
He's kind of
olive farm.
pulls his head like.
Look, another olive farm. Hey, look at that. It's an olive farm.
Look at that! It's a lavender farm.
So before you eventually you guys get to the warehouse, and it is a pretty dull looking warehouse with kind of like this flaky white paint on the outside. It's right near the water, so there's like a dock behind it with a few small boats tethered to the pier. The front door isn't like your typical front door. It's something like you kind of have to lift all the way up, and it's currently lifted all the way up, revealing several statues inside, as well as a well-groomed man with dark brown hair behind the desk, kind of writing on several notes.
Sure, I'll walk in.
So you walk in, and he looks up. You notice to your left that there's another one of these large roll-up doors, and some paintings on the wall. And he gets up and sighs and says, "Hello, miss. Did you have an appointment?"
Do I need one?
You do not. I was just curious if you're one of my appointments. But if you are here, please peruse these wonderful pieces of art, statues discovered and claimed just a few months ago. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these. I also have the notes right here in my notebook.
Were any of these made by any Renaissance artist of any caliber whatsoever?
It's. I mean, really, everything here is made with caliber, made by people who mattered in history.
If it's not Leonardo da Vinci, they don't matter.
We're
Okay.
looking for someone who would have sold you or done business with you. He's a good friend of mine.
All right. And who might that be?
Elena Georgios. Georgios? I really don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that last name. So, Elena.
Elena, I see. The name doesn't ring a bell. But while you're here, why don't you check out some of the art and statues?
Does he seem to be telling the truth?
Why don't you give me a check?
What check am I looking? Alertness?
Let's see. Yes, alertness will be perfect.
Okay, I'm going to call out that I'm going to take neg2 pit mod on that for 3 story points.
Ooh,
So
nice.
would you kindly go over again what that means? This is the first time we're using the neg or plus pips.
Correct. Yeah. So the pips are a way to increase or lower difficulty, and basically what it means is if you have a negative or positive pip, the actions of your ones place for the percentile
Muted. What's
changes based on the pips. So at a -2
What?
pips, that means if there is 82,
Oh shoot. Okay, I'll go check
12, an
into that. Hold
11,
on.
or even a 1,
Okay, hold on.
despite your percentile in that, what would normally be a success would be a failure.
Okay. I am
If it was a positive, it'd be the opposite.
Okay. I am so sorry, but you need to tell me one more time, really quick, because Brandon needed me for something. What am I rolling? What do I roll for the neg2 pit?
So you're rolling your basic percentile,
Right.
and you're looking to see if your ones are within the 1 or 2, basically.
Okay, cool. I rolled an 11.
All right.
And so that is well within that.
Correct. But so normally it would be a success, but because of the neg2 pip and your ones place is a 1, that means you have failed that action.
Okay.
So yeah, and so we're always failing forward. So let's come up with something that kind of makes this a little bit more dramatic.
Well, I was trying to figure out if he was telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I would say that he seems like to me, he seems like he's trying to sell me stuff. And it seems like if I spend enough money, maybe he'll tell me information. The information I see.
Excellent. Yep, that is exactly right.
Okay.
So exactly how distracted is he trying to make the sale?
We'll say with that kind of that negative role that Electra, I mean, She looks like she's rich. She came in with a lovely car. She looks interested in the art. This is fresh fish, and he is a shark.
And he
Good.
and he might think that he might be like, oh my gosh, she's famous. I recognize her. You know, I can get her to spend a lot of money. So he's
Yeah,
gonna
and there's
take
like kind of that sense of superiority that you can recognize, Harry, that someone he feels he could pretty much sell her whatever at a extremely exaggerated cost.
Good. While he's distracted, he was looking at some sort of book. I assume it was something about
Like a ledger.
procurements. Yes, I'm going to go over that ledger and see if I can find anything that references any of the professor's work or mentions that it came from Falaki's Island. Um, any of the particular items that I read in the professor's notes while I was up in his study. Just looking for anything that kind of connects here.
Excellent. So I think this will be a good time to use the opposite end of the pips. So because of Electra's accidental distraction, so to speak, we will give you a +5 pip.
Okay.
awesome.
And I am doing this off of. Well, I've got a search at 45. Would that be something appropriate?
No, not for this. You can definitely,
Okay.
it'll be easy to find just a sneak. So if not
Okay.
sneak, it's your basic.
Okay, well, it's just I don't actually have sneak. I just have other skills at 15. So,
Yeah, that'll be my kind of skills.
yeah. But at least I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at Harry as he's doing it, and I'm kind of like, just kind of
Okay.
like nonchalantly walks over there and kind of give a peek, see what he's doing.
Well, I rather surprised myself. I just rolled an aught 4.
Ooh,
So
Yeah, that's
I just rolled
within-
an aught 4.
And that's
Yeah,
within
that's
the +5
within-
range that you
Mhm.
gave. So yay.
yeah. So even if you had rolled above it, as long as your ones was in that +5, you would have succeeded.
Right.
So you are perfect. Like the guy is very much distracted, and you're kind of looking through the ledger as Paul kind of creeps in, a little nonchalantly. But you see several, it's kind of like income, outgoing of several items, each one listed by a number and a vague description of it. Looking around, you notice that each piece is kind of tagged with a slip, so you can kind of identify which one's which. And what you can definitely confirm is that this ledger speaks more than what you see out here. So you can almost suspect that just beyond this other door might be everything else. A lot of the ledger has a F next to it. You can make assumptions based on what that means. There looks to be that most of the purchases are associated, or at least coming in. The person who's kind of bringing in all the artifacts. Let me get that name real quick. Is a Mr. Richards.
Mr. Richards.
Yeah, so you can almost surmise that he's the one kind of funding this whole venture. And furthermore, there are several pieces that look like there's a slight arrow, and then the name Falakis.
Okay. Well, then I will get the items associated with Falakis. And if they happen to be out here, I'll have a quick look at them. If not, I will see if I can.
Yeah, and they also don't have the F next to them. You notice that everything out here has the F next to them.
Ah, okay. I make the insinuation then. So I go over to Paul.
Yeah, I'm literally right next to you, kind of looking over your shoulder.
You gotta like, whoa.
Yeah,
Oh,
he just
hi,
quietly,
Paul.
you didn't notice him, and it's like, and he's kind of looking over the book and saying, I've seen, like, he's seen stuff like this before, and if there's anything that this guy has missed, that he might have, like, hey, I might have noticed this and that, and kind of like, he giving his whole,
What's Eloise doing right now?
Eloise is looking through the antiques, trying to find anything that might be of slight interest that she could modify, build on, make better. But, considering the kind of shop this is, she doesn't have much hope in that. But
Yes.
overall, she's being a pokey teenager.
Mm. I look over at Paul and I say, Paul, I do believe there's a way to get into the back room where the real art is, instead of all these fakes out here. Reproductions, perhaps. If you could expedite a way for us to get in there, I need to talk to Eloise for just a moment.
It's like he nods and just kind of like pull slinks away and goes to like a side door, pulls out kind of his little lock picks and kind of start to see if he can pop a lock.
So this kind of area to get into the next one is just like this large roll-up door. So it won't take any kind of security, more so sneaking to lift it up a little bit and kind of roll underneath it and bring it back down in a very quick motion that doesn't draw the eye of this gentleman. Since it's such a small area, what we're going to do is give you a -3 to this action, the -3 pips. So you can go ahead and roll sneak.
Okay.
Mitch, I sent you messages in Discord and Facebook for the reason why Brandon distracted me.
Oh.
And I wanted you to be known in ASAP on that.
So I'm rolling sneak, right?
Yeah, you're rolling sneak.
Mhm.
Okay. So I rolled a 32.
32. Unfortunately, that's an automatic failure because of the
Pips.
Yep, the pips, the -3 pips.
Oh.
Which is unfortunate. Go, you were gonna say?
Oh, I'll say the question is that my sneak is at a 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to get close.
You got a neg 2, so you got the neg 2 pips. So what happens is neg 2 or plus neg whatever or plus whatever overrides whatever percentile. So even if you rolled a 90, if you rolled in the 90s, but you and you have a +3, let's say, if you rolled 93, that means you succeed, even if you have a normal success rate of 20 something. If you are taking the negative, it means that even if you rolled an +7, but you are neg 2, if you rolled a neg +2 and you have a neg 2, you're still a failure because the neg or plus overrides.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, so if it's a 65%, do I have to roll less than a 65
Yes.
or more than a 65?
Less than a 65.
Less. Yeah,
Okay.
usually that is where you. I mean, that's where you wanna. That's where success lies in this percentile system. But because of the pips, the negative, that is why you have failed this task. So the idea I have is everyone turns as you lift it up, you go to roll, but you're not that fast enough, and the large kind of rolling door kind of falls back on you as the person turns over and is like, excuse me, sir, are you okay? No one's allowed back there.
Oh, dear.
Does Eloise hear this?
Yeah,
what-
it's a pretty small area.
She breaks something.
Thank you.
You look at it. You
What?
have
I was
this
gonna
little
tell her
statue
to
and you're like,
And he's like, oh, that's a mean boss? Never mind.
yeah.
And
He
then-
turns. He's like, "What did you do?" As he goes over there. What
As
do
he
you
goes
do?
over there,
She tries to run away.
Yeah, you run away. He seems more focused on putting these pieces together, and he's like, "Oh crap!" Like, oh, jeez. Yeah. So Paul,
go.
Paul, you have a few seconds before he obviously will kind of think back upon.
Yeah, I basically flip out and shut it back behind me.
So the place you're in is grander, about twice the size of where you were, and there's different shelves as well as artifact pieces. There is a door leading out back to the pier. And other than that, it's pretty dark in here. You see several shovels and pickaxes. Definitely looks like a place where someone would go to assist in the bringing out of artifacts.
So I turn on my flashlight looking about and see if there's anything that, might have the professor's name on it or something, because if he sold it, or his daughter that might still have something like, hey, this guy found this certain artifact or something, basically have a history of it. And to see if there's anything such like that, see if there's anything like, something recent from that dig site that we're going to be looking at, anything like that.
All right. Let's see what type of role would get you where we want to be.
I do have investigation, search.
Ooh, investigation sounds great.
All
and
right.
No pips for this one.
36.
I assume a success. All right, excellent. So you're looking around, and definitely a few of the statues look like they still have dirt on them, as if they're still part of the recovering process and making it look ready to be put out. You kind of recall in your head as you were peeping over the places that Harry was pointing out, several of these are, of course, not the Fs, but instead have nothing. And a lot of these new ones are associated with the Falakis.
So, like, he kind of like, looks around to see if there's like a manifest, stuff like that, see if it's anything like, if it's just this one, like, and if anything else, how recent it has brought in, because as I said, that the guys have been gone for about a week, and if this is like within that timeline that these came in, so they still might be there at the dig site, and it's like, all right, so this got sent within like the last week or so, then they still might be there.
Yeah, based on kind of where these statues are, which is next to the door, and you see several kind of cleaned up statues further away from it, it looks like these are relatively new to this warehouse. So definitely within the last couple of days.
Yeah, and he's kind of looking around, just kind of like, I so want to get my hands on something, but it's so bad right now in the crowd.
He's stuff a statue
it's like,
in here.
It's like, is there something small and something shiny I can get? Ooh, nice goblet.
Got like there's like the holy grail with the red rubies all around it.
Yeah, but he gets something like, like it's like maybe or like really nice, like it would be an artifact, but maybe like an old mirror. He's like, yeah, this might be easy.
All right, you pocket the old mirror.
Yeah, and he looks out. He kind of sees the doors, like the door leading out to the piers, unlocked. And if it is, he just unlocks it and sneaks out.
All right, you can sneak out. And what is everyone else doing?
While he was doing that, I'm looking and trying to calm the guy. I don't want him to, press charges on Eloise or anything like that. So I'm gonna offer him money. I'm gonna offer to pay for it.
I'm sorry. Crocodile tears.
You're gonna make a child cry? I mean, what kind of man are you?
Oh, hold on. Oh my God. I mean, this is like my commission. So you can roll credit.
Yep. I'd like to point out that when rolling credit, I get +2.
Nice.
And but yeah, I'm like, what kind of wanker are you that you would make a child cry?
It was just so pretty. I had to have
I didn't make her cry. Like, it's just obviously, it's just, oh God. That's...
+5. I don't even need to use my +2. +5.
Nice.
I succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, you pay him some money, and he's like, look, kid, I'm really sorry. I scared you. Everything's okay. I should get back to work. Thank you again for coming, though.
And in general, I've been taking pictures of the pieces in here with my film camera, and I've been basically, down here, so I'm not showing him that I'm using my camera. I'm not putting it up here, but I want to take pictures of the inventory that I see. And hiding behind shelves and all these pieces, it's not hard to hide a camera.
No, it's not. Yeah, and he's kind of focused on that money.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Take as many pictures as I can, and if also that ledger is still open, I'm going to basically sneak over while there's a big distraction. I'm going to take pictures of as many of the pages as I can.
Excellent. Why don't you roll a d6?
Sure. 5?
All right. Yeah, you got 5 pages before you kind of looked your way.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. So where are you guys meeting back at?
I'll probably drive down to the end of the pier and wait for Paul to show up.
Yeah, if I'll drive out, and I guess if we know that we would be meeting at the pier, I'll drive there. On my way, though, I'm going to change film canisters, and I'm going to hand the film canister over to Eloise and say, "I think you want it." So I'm going to say, "So do you want to test that contraption of yours on developing film quickly again?"
Oh yeah. Can I use your trunk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I believe you have equipment for this.
Yeah, she's got a full chemistry set.
Yep, she does.
Excellent. Roll it.
Okay.
And I think your chemistry set gives you bonuses on it. I think you've got like plus pips.
Yeah, my chemistry set gives me +2 pips for analysis and
Nice.
investigation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I like, as you guys are driving fast, you have like your computer out, you got like these couple liquid things developing.
Yep.
So
I'll
with
drive trick
investigation,
driving with it.
Yeah, you're like cyanide over here and oxygen peroxide. Let's put over here.
my investigation is 75, and I rolled a 48.
Nice.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, so much quicker than what anyone you know can do. You're able to kind of
So yes, here's your
yeah.
pictures.
You're like, there you go.
Thank you,
Start
Eloise.
putting away everything before you blow up the city.
Best mate ever. See, she's more posh than anyone I know.
It's the best.
Does Paul show up eventually?
He basically, as like the old man looking around, he basically, as he turns his head, he's right there. It's like, I found something. Just kind of quietly walks up to him.
Hop on in. Did you see any boats that might be able to take us to Falaki's Island while you were looking around back there?
He points over there. There's an old tugger over there that we probably could use.
Somebody own it, or is it just sitting there?
I mean,
actually, I want to use a story point that this actually is an old tugger that he has a friend of his that owns, that he's been in this area.
all right.
It's like I have an old friend of mine that can help us with that.
2 story points. Pretty good.
That's cool. I can use that.
All right.
All right.
So
Is it big enough for a car?
No.
Okay. We'll have to leave the cars behind. But at the very least, we have transport to the island.
yep. And
So
we're
why
gonna
don't you
pause
talk
at
to
this
your...
point.
Okay.
All right, so you are going to the pier and talking to your friend. Do you recall what your friend's name is, or is everyone just another passing face for you?
He's actually he's actually Greek. He's a short, little greasy-looking guy. I call him Weasel because he's a weaselly-looking guy. He actually helped me sometimes to transport certain things that have need to go hidden out and stuff like that. So if we need to slide in somewhere very quietly, he can help us with that.
All right, excellent. So you guys approach this little dinghy with several oars tied up to the side, and he's currently taking a nap on top of several bananas. And you can kind of see like the little bubble come out of his mouth and then go back in. And
I know you actually like meant bubble gum, but I really pictured snot bubbles with the fact that you. I'm
I think it is. It's just like.
Yeah, I pictured snot bubbles the way it was described.
As he's doing that, I kick him kick at it under his feet and let him just wake up. I'm like, wake up, Weasel!
Huh? Do I owe you money?
It's good to see you again, my friend. How are you?
Oh God! You have coffee? Why are you here?
You have a paying transport need to be done.
I went to church. I prayed that I would never see you again. I went to every
Here I am.
religious sermon that I could conceive of, and nonetheless, you are here before me. And I bet by the end of this, I'm going to lose my bananas.
Well, that's what happens when you put your faith in God instead of science.
Hey, I went to science places too and prayed to whatever science lord there was.
The Church of Scientology.
Yeah,
Or
that'll
weird
work.
science.
Anything. If there was something to pray to give money to ask forgiveness for, I tried in order to get this man out of my life. But nope, he has popped back into it, disturbing what was a beautiful nap. I was dreaming about several lovely ladies, and we were frolicking across the beaches, my
You're
hands
gross.
in there.
I'm 16. You're gross.
Look, I didn't set the rating for this little area, okay? Why are you with a kid, Paul?
Illegitimate child.
All his children are illegitimate.
Let's say like the
I
last
like-
count he had was 37, I believe.
Oh my god. You know that's gonna come back and bite you.
I'm going to go
somehow,
outside
some way.
while you all talk like adults.
Mr. Weasel, can you take us to Falakis Island?
Oh, you want to go to Falakis Island, huh?
Yes.
Here's...
And we'd like you to wait there until we come back and come back here.
Okay. So I'm a little bit worried about my bananas. So how about this? I let you rent my boat. All right. Good fee. All right. It's a good boat. Just recently bought. This is actually the first time it's been taken out into the water. The oars are high quality wood, mahogany, of course.
It doesn't have an
Mr.
engine.
Weasel. Mr. Weasel.
Yeah.
Hold on. It doesn't have an engine. It doesn't even have. Wow. Okay. Never mind then.
There's like an engine in the back.
Okay. So yeah, it's got a floater. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I go and check it out?
What are you checking out exactly?
Your boat.
To see if it will actually get us to where we need to go.
Seaworthy.
Sure, but as long as you know, by coming onto the ship, I'm not liable for any accidents that occur. Furthermore, any mechanisms or boat parts that are broken during your time here means that you now owe me money for the boat itself. But please, step on. Carefully, though, don't apply too much pressure in any one area. It's a very sophisticated boat.
I give Paul a look as I step on board.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. As I get on board, I'm gonna go and head over to the engine.
Yeah, you head over to the engine, and I assume you're kind of looking it over and
Yeah,
and
I'm actually good at engineering, so.
Yeah, you kind of pop the lid off of it and pull some seaweed from entangled in the mechanisms. There looks like a fish died in it.
Eloise!
Kind
You-
of chuckle.
dear
I'm like,
God.
You.
this is her.
ran-
She's just like jet ski.
I'm going to start fiddling with the engine a bit. Yeah, that bloke over there thinks that this'll run. I don't think so. Not without you and me messing with it for a bit. I think the blugger's straight up pissed.
Okay, get my tools.
And I start tinkering with it a little bit.
He's like,
Tell you what,
what?
Mr. Weasel,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
we will make full repairs on your motor as payment for the rental of your boat.
Full repairs. I'm going to turn this thing into a jet boat.
You will have a really awesome boat when we get done with it.
You know, I think that is more than fair for the damage that you have done to my boat. So I accept,
Damage?
good sir. Yeah, I mean, that seaweed and fish wasn't there before, so obviously it's probably something.
Very well then. Why don't you rescue your bananas?
Yes, I will procure my bananas. I have many things to do with them. And obviously, please tie it back when you're done.
I'll send Paul around for you when we get back.
Can you send someone else?
No.
Okay, there's some lovely ladies down there you could probably procure. I always send them.
Gross.
I would even take her. Like, she looks fancy. As he's pointing at Electra.
No.
Okay, just don't
We'll
send
send
Paul.
Paul.
It's all right. Okay, fine, Paul. I will see you then. As he like picks up his banana pile and
So
heads off down the street.
I would like to know how we would adjudicate me assisting him in this. Would this just mean that if I succeed, I give him anywhere between 2 to 5 pips?
So every it's kind of a joint action which works in a different sort of way. So you guys each roll a separate skill to kind of aid in this task, and based on how many successes out of the amount of attempts will dictate how well of an overall job you do.
Okay. My engineering's a 65%. I got a 43.
Excellent. All right, Eloise, what are you doing to kind of add to this?
I have engineering as well.
Has to be something else, something else that you're kind of
Oh.
adding in.
Okay, let's take a look here.
Super science.
Yeah, I'll use my science skill.
Excellent.
It is 65%, and I roll a 51.
Nice. All right. So yeah, by it probably takes a couple hours. So you're kind of getting into.
You get more torque if you put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Connect that to that. That's useless. Just toss.
You figure out a way to integrate the fish. But yeah, it's a couple hours later, getting into the late afternoon. This thing is pretty much. You would never say that this was the old boat that you guys saw just a couple hours ago. This was a weird sleepy guy on it. It looks nice.
Very well. Perhaps we should get going then. By the way, who drives this thing?
Gesturing to Electra.
Well,
I'm driving, yes, I'm piloting. I figure. I'm born behind the wheel, guys. I'm born behind the wheel. There's a wheel here, I'm good.
All right.
Well then.
So this brings us to kind of the.
It is a vehicle. It is a vehicle,
yes.
and therefore I get that. Get my bonuses.
So we're going into a challenge type mechanic. So in these scenes where like an extended period of time occurs, you want to see how everyone's doing. Each person rolls a different skill roll, and based on how many successes you get, dictates how overall everyone does, just like we did before. So sailing the seas and getting to the island is going to take vehicles, alertness, endurance, and machinery.
Okay, I've got alertness, I've got endurance, I've got machinery, but that's my lowest. And I'd like to point out that I was born behind the wheel, so I can spend story points to say we succeed if I need to.
All
essentially, right. That's the short version of it. I can do a bunch of cool things.
Yeah, so pretty much everyone picks one of these skills, and that will be the thing you focus on during this trip.
Okay.
How about I pick endurance, because that seems to be the best of what I've got.
I'll pick alertness or engineering, depending on. I think alertness is probably going to be better, since I think Eloise is going to be better on engineering.
It's machinery.
Oh, machinery. Yeah, she's probably better than me on that too.
I could take alertness because I don't really have any of those other skills.
I have 45% on machinery. Is that the best machinery we've got?
Yeah, that's probably the better machinery.
Because so is Eloise driving.
Okay. Cool. So I guess I'm trying to make sure that the machine is working okay. And I'll just be over at the engine making certain I'm keeping it souped up and repairing it and jury rigging it every time something goes wrong. Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, everyone roll. Let's see what we get.
Okay, I would like to call my mechanics toolbox for 2 pips.
All right.
And let me roll. And, well, so at this point, I don't get my behind the wheel chance, do I?
Correct, yeah.
72. So I
put
still
the
make
child
it.
in front of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
72, but because it's the plus 2 pips, I make it.
Exactly. So we got 1 success. All right, Harry. How are we doing?
I just rolled here, and my endurance is 65%, and I rolled a 46.
Nice. So another success. You are able to keep everyone and yourself from not getting seasick. Paul, why don't you go ahead?
Rolled alertness. Mine's a 45%, and I rolled a 37.
Excellent. All right. So everything looks all good from your end as you're looking out around the sea. And then finally, Eloise, you're behind the wheel somehow, some way.
I've been teaching her how to drive. This is a perfect time. There's no cars to ram into. This seemed like the perfect time for her to put it into practice what I've been teaching her.
Yeah, but
This
she
is
goes
not
left
all
hard.
This is not all left-wing moped.
This is a great time for her to practice without crashing into other cars. I've been teaching her how to drive. Pedal, pedal.
Well, it's not really a pedal. It's just a big row, like, hey.
Well, he was talking about the fact that it is an engine-based, and so a lot of these engine-based little boats these days drive a lot like cars, surprisingly. So.
Well, surprisingly enough, I roll an odd 5.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, yes, you're like. So there's different outcomes that could come from it. There's a good outcome, a great outcome, limited outcome, bad outcome, and abysmal outcome. You guys all got successes, so this is a great outcome, the best that you guys could have done. So it doesn't take you that long as you jet over the water, the little rowboat goes with whatever is powering this. You don't exactly know. It might be jet fuel. But who knows?
You might put some in the tank.
Yeah, Eloise's hair is just flying out behind her. And because of Paul, you guys are able to spot the island just off the side, and you notice that there's a pier, and it looks like there's a man waiting on it.
Well, I have a pair of binoculars and looking out in the distance, see if I can get a better view of who it is.
Yeah, and Electra has a very difficult task of you. I mean, this boat was not meant to go this fast.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, like, I'm literally still pulling kelp from the engine parts as we're going, and so, like, all of a sudden we're going this fast. I'm like, Eloise is doing great. You know, I'm really proud of her. And dunk, I've got a kelp scarf, and dunk, you know, I've got seaweed in my hair, and dunk, there's a fish. There's a dead fish over here. Ew. You know, I'm kind of covered in stuff as it's flying at me, but I have a nice, stylish kelp scarf now.
And you gotta like pour water on it every now and then as it looks like it's about to catch on fire.
Yeah, every once in a while pour more. Yep. So,
and of course, Harry, looking casual as ever, probably smoking something to just kind of keep cool, keep calm. And it's despite the craziness of everything, it's Harry's kind of calmness in this void that allows everyone to continue on.
I'm going to point out that before we set off, I did change into my beachwear, because that's at least that way I don't mess up my good land clothes. I have beachwear. Okay.
All right. Excellent. So yeah, you guys are coming up to this pier, into this cove where there is a man waiting.
Okay. Paul was looking at him through the binoculars. What did Paul see?
He sees this almost a sweet, sleazy looking man with his hands in his pockets, wearing a leather jacket, dark hair, dark eyes, kind of looking absently towards the water and then gazing up at this boat as it comes by. And he starts walking to the end of the pier.
Paul gets a description. It's like, does anybody know this gentleman?
I wonder if I would know him.
You would not.
Do I possibly know him?
No.
Okay.
He definitely...
No bloke I know.
Yeah.
I look over at Harry and it's like, you might want to just be careful, you know, be ready in case anything seems to happen. You never know.
Paul, you might know him actually.
Really?
Yeah, actually, let's say as you look through the thing, as you get a little bit closer, you notice that this guy's name is Greg. Just Greg. No one ever knows his last name. He's kind of a joker type of guy. Very, very nice. You had dinner with his family and his wife, but he mainly acts as the muscle in several underworld activities. Yeah, so you've seen him like put a guy's head through the window and throw a man off the roof.
Paul basically just rubs his chin. It's like, oh, this is interesting. I wasn't surprised to see him here. Maybe he just recognizes the boat and he suspects it might be a weasel.
So Eloise pulls up, I assume.
Writing on her OT5 roll, she will perform a Captain Ron maneuver to dock the boat, just sideways.
The water like picks up and like covers the man in it, and as he looks down at you guys. You guys need help getting out.
Oh, I think we'll just tie it off right here if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. When you're done, let's talk.
Were you waiting for someone?
Waiting for you. He takes out a cigarette and notices it's wet and
Why would you be waiting for us?
Did Weasel send word?
No, I mean, boat comes here. I assume it's for us. So, let's. Why don't you get out of the boat? We talk. Do I know you? As he points at Paul.
Yes, Greg. It's good to see you again. Good to see you here. He kind of gives him the, like this handshake and just kind of like, not keep him a distance, but just kind of like, why is he here?
Yeah, he goes to kiss you on either cheek.
Yeah, he kind of does the whole, Prince thing. He's like, yeah, it's like, what brings you here? Is there opportunities that's going on that I should know about?
Just the usual work. And he kind of pulls out. He shows off his leather jacket, and on the inside you see 2 pistols kind of stacked on top of each other. Yeah. This bodyguard work, muscle, so to speak, is pretty much basically letting no one on this island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Typical.
Actually, I am here to look for someone. He looks at Harry. Is that Professor? What was that again?
Professor Georgios.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. Unfortunately, I have a job to do. I have wife and kids at home. I need to feed them. I really was just being polite. You guys need to go, obviously.
It's like, Greg, come on. As a favor of me, he pulls out the big wad that he stole from that guy, palms it to his hand. You can do this small favor for me, allow us to talk to the professor if he's here.
You know what? I think this is payback for some of the items you took from my house.
Yeah. I said, I apologize for that. I said, but he's like, I did send a nice warming gift for you, not recently. So it should be to your wife soon.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, but they pay more, and I can't really let you through. I'm sorry. Yes.
It seems quite unfortunate. It is very late in the day. It's not like we're going to be able to go back.
You're right. A bloke like you need to treat your wife nice. You need to buy her nice things and make sure your daughter that she gets the best schools, best dresses.
She's number 1 in the shooting academy.
So I want to make sure that we thank you for being so diligent and letting only the most exclusive VIPs past you. So maybe we could show our appreciation and show you and appreciate that you will be watching our backs as VIPs on the island. And I'm going to try and talk him into taking a bribe.
All right, you add a -3 pip.
-3 pip, but I also have +2 pip because of my gear. So how does that work?
Yeah. It just cancels each other out. So
the 3.
-1 pip.
Okay, so -1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 13 is what I rolled.
All right. So something about your swagger. He's kind of like. I mean, look, I can let you pass, right? But if I let you in and they know I did it, or if I'm around, they're just going to do to you what I probably should, which is capture you and tie you up, legally, of course. Why is this little child here?
To the GM, while they're talking, I would like to go into my electronics kit and create a taser.
All right, you have a taser.
And he says, "Why is this child here?" She offers him she offers a hand to shake.
Is it the buzzer, like the ring buzzer taser,
Yeah.
Jacob?
Yes.
Awesome. The ring
All
buzzer
right, so
taser.
why don't you give me a melee with a since he doesn't know about a +5 pip?
Nice.
Here's the dice.
All right. I rolled a 20 with a melee of 45.
There you go. Yeah. So he shakes it and tips over as he is knocked out cold on the ground.
You
All
spend so
right.
much time talking when you should just knock the guy out.
I take the kelp and I tie him up with the kelp.
Yeah.
Kelp's very strong for that, by the way.
As he's not down, I'll retrieve my money and take the gun from him and basically anything worth of note.
Uh,
I'm like,
I look
No.
at you as you take the money that I handed him, and I go clear my throat and open
no.
my palm for it.
He's like, oh yes. He's like, here you go. And he looks at the two guns. He's like, Professor.
Eloise takes the other gun.
Louis like.
It's like, and he just kind of sticks it in there. But is there like anything that is in his pockets, like like any information, like he might have like a note, a card, or anything like that, or anything that he might have?
No, not really. He is kind of bare bones, other than like some matchsticks and cigarettes. A picture of his wife and daughter. His daughter has like a gun. Yeah.
I would like to, pick him up and stick him somewhere so he won't be seen, so you don't have a body just.
Yeah,
right
just
there.
kind of like he slumped on the ground with his.
Like I said, tie him up,
Yeah.
and we can put him inside the boat, off-site.
Mhm.
Off, so he's not seen.
Excellent. All right. So the island stands before you, relatively rocky and covered with olive trees. You see kind of old. Oh, go ahead.
Before we head off, though, with what he said, I want to see if we can find some cover to hide our boat, because this way, if there are other guards on the island, I don't want them to see the boat. So that's
Excellent. So someone can roll sneak for that.
not me.
That'd be me.
There we go.
Yes, allow me, madam.
Find us somewhere to hide this boat.
All right, I got a 48 on my sneak of 65.
Excellent. You're good then. You can pretty much hide it, not on the pier, but a little bit off on the cove. Rest it along the beach, in between several trees.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Good. And then we'll take some of the leaves and just cover parts of it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's
Using my survival skill, are we at high or low tide here?
we are at it's getting to high tide.
Okay, which means we should probably put that boat a little further out. Otherwise, we're gonna have to carry it out into the water when we want to leave.
Okay. So we'll do that
Yeah.
and get it nice and protected and covered.
Tied off and such. So this kind of it's definitely an island that has seen use, because you see like old remnants of roads and buildings litter across the landscape. So this place has, it's not one of those places that just hasn't been touched by humanity. It has been touched.
Well, I have looked at maps of the place and I've seen an aerial photograph of the place. And since I'm really good with survival and hiking and various other things, I can probably get us to where we need to go on foot.
Oh, definitely. And as you guys are walking, someone give me a humanities check at -2 pips.
What roll?
Humanities.
Humanities.
Oh,
Not you.
okay.
Not
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
It's not for you.
No, it would be one of my other skills if I had it.
All right.
Anyone else? Otherwise, I'll roll it.
I think you're as close as anyone's gonna get.
No. I don't
Yay!
have it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give the humanities roll. Hopefully. Too bad I don't have something that can flip that. Well, I got close, but not there. 27 versus 15, so no. I didn't.
Oh, yeah. All right. So as you're looking at all the buildings and everything, it's kind of hard to identify where exactly they come from and why they are here. But there's one thing you know for certain: there are several goats that are looking at you as if you are on their territory.
What is up with you and goats, Mitch?
I don't. Hey, it's on the module, okay? There's wild goats roam the landscape.
Right.
Because
Every
goats
time
are
I
the
game with you,
best.
for some reason I end up with goats. I'm a
Now I
goat
feel like
or
I
with
have
goats.
to. Yeah, I
So
feel
is
like
he
I
just
have
goading
to.
you?
Ah,
He's got my goat, apparently.
okay, that character dies.
Okay, anyway, sorry about that.
Fine.
I'll take this opportunity to unlimber the rifle and actually get it loaded, and then sling it over my shoulder while we walk.
Yeah, you see, there's definitely like a head goat, like watching you with an
Big
almost,
Bah!
yeah, just looking at you, the long beard.
Ah.
Yeah, it's like you're an old fogey. I'm an old fogey. Let's rock.
We've both been in the war. We've both seen things.
War of attrition. I will win.
But you know that on top of this hill are the remnants of a small city with wondrous ruins and lots of statues. It's kind of like where the X spot was. As you come closer to the city, you can start to hear human voices. Are you guys going up or sneaking?
I looking at everybody. Said, let me check this out. You know, he kind of goes along a wall and see if he can hear a little easier.
All right, go ahead and make a sneak.
And I'll keep my ears open using alertness to see if I hear anything amiss
All right.
while he's
So
gone.
I rolled a 45.
Excellent. All right, what was your alertness, Harry?
I haven't rolled it yet. There we go. 36 out of a 45.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, between you two, this perfect duo, maybe you guys should work together forever. You guys get
I don't think you'll trust me that much.
you guys get up close and you see several characters around lots of tents. There's the telltale signs of archaeological excavation, shovels, mounds of dirt, as well as some kind of drilling machines off on a side. You see these washing bins, and there are 4 people currently digging, while a 5th is standing guard. Especially Harry, as you kind of peek over Paul's shoulder, you recognize the professor and his granddaughter, as well as 2 people who you kind of somewhat recognize. You've seen them come and go from the office, so most likely his assistants. And then one of the guy on guard duty, he of course is armed. You see several people just beyond him, armed with pistols, moving around the statues, and 2 others are having a break smoking.
So, why would they be so interested in all this? I mean, it's archaeological. I don't think it's valuable in any way, shape, or form.
There's all sorts of things you can pull out of archaeological digs. Obviously, this isn't legit. Look at all the people with guns. I've never
Maybe
heard of
there's something
archaeologists
hidden here
using
that they
something
want.
guns.
Maybe they
Maybe
found
some
gold.
rich artifact.
Maybe they found gold.
I mean, some of these old places always have stuff like that.
Yeah, but would that make a criminal syndicate come crawling up out of the woodwork for an archaeological dig?
Maybe the professor owes somebody money.
I don't think so. I get the impression he's a respectable sort.
And you can always spend story points for clues if you're ever kind of like,
Well, I want to preserve the ones I have here. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take a look?
Great. She'll skip in. I will spend a story point to be ignored by adults.
Where's the young one?
Yeah, you're like, where's she? And he just skipped in, and like some of the guards they're just looking around, and they just kind of assume you're a part of this someone's
Yeah, you see a
daughter.
redheaded kid come by. I'm like, hey, like, what?
It's bring your daughter to work day. Someone must have brought her. You know, they just kind of just go on their business.
I'm looking at Eloise. I'm like, how is she doing this?
Why don't you take advantage of it and go look a little bit more yourself?
All right, as he said that, he's like, oh, very well. And he, what it is that I do have my disguise kit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look like Greg. See if I can get myself look a little bit like Greg, kind of sneak in a little bit.
All right, go ahead and roll.
And then I'll look over at Electra and say, Electra, Do you see a vehicle around here that might actually be worthy of getting us out of here in a hurry?
Well, I was about to look for that and one other thing when Mitch came around. So I'll get.
Sorry.
Oh no, no problem at all. I agree with you on that completely.
All right. Well,
But-
let's get Paul's roll, and then we'll hop over to
All right.
Electra.
Sure.
So what would I have to roll? Would it be subterfuge, sneak?
Subterfuge.
All right. Okay. And what would my disguise kit give me? +2 pips. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
All right. That is a 42.
Excellent. You succeeded. Yeah. So you look pretty much like him. I mean, it's really just having that everlasting scowl on your face,
Yeah.
and adoration for your kid.
Yeah, he's walking up and he kind of like, he doesn't go where the professor is. He kind of stays along the walls and he just kind of quietly listening on what's, like what the guys are talking about, trying to hear of, somebody might be like, hey, talking about each other about what's going on.
All right,
So-
excellent. So we'll come back to you and we'll hop over to Alice, Electra right now.
Okay, so yeah, I'd like to go nick a vehicle, but I'm doing it not just for our escape purposes, but see, I'm a little bit overconfident in the way that my character is, so I would like to, it seems to me that they would need to transport whatever they are finding and stealing and such like that. So I'm going to come in as their driver
All right.
and state
ahead.
that I got hired and Greg let me in and here to help nick what they need to nick, and I am going to spend a story point or two as you deem it to make them buy it.
All right. I will say with Greg is just a 1. You're kind of your two stories working together kind of just make it happen.
Nobody that isn't supposed to be on the island is supposed to be, is going to be here,
Mhm.
etc. And so I'm just going to come in. I'm going to take that, go find that vehicle, and I'm going to say, and I'm going to play it up and say, so when's I'm the ride. When the boat gets here, I'm driving it on, but point me in the direction of where I'm going to go heist the goods.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, and one of the guys kind of approaches you. He's this redhead with blue eyes. So he's looking around. He has a pistol on his side. Oh man, I'm glad Greg brought you here. I mean, there's really a lot of stuff. But yeah, sometime tonight, we usually get like a signal from the light down the pier. You can kind of almost see it from here. They'll give us a signal. We bring the items down. This is your first day at work, right? Congratulations.
My first day. And
yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm
good to
going to
have you
talk.
here.
I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to, say I'm just going to go get a lay of the land then, and drive around a bit, get a feel for this vehicle, make sure that if anything goes wrong, I got us handled. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to get Harry into the back of this vehicle.
All right. Yeah.
And
So
so that's what
he-
I wanted to do, Matt, was do that. So I'm like, I had your plan, and I had something else. So, but I got you
Yeah,
covered.
alright.
So he kind of hands you the little Hawaiian dancing doll and hands you the keys. This is attached to a rabbit's foot. He's like, I usually put the seat a little bit forward. I'm a little short guy. You might want to put it to the back. It kind of it's a little sticky around third. But yeah, it's good to see you here. You know what? In any case, I gotta go back to guard duty, but
Yeah,
let me
I'll
know if
just
you have
go,
any questions.
Get a good feel for this vehicle in case we need to do some quick getaway.
Yeah, and it's a nice kind of like Jeep. The roads are decent. I mean, obviously you have to dodge around goats whose eyes continue to look at Harry
Like,
in a way that
hey,
is,
imminentity of Harry.
yeah.
Yeah, at some point, basically, when we're not going to be noticed, I'm going to pick Harry up and get him in the back. Hide him in the
Perfect.
back.
Yeah, and there's like a tarp on there, so you can easily
Yep.
just like.
Figure. Awesome. Tarp him up.
So Eloise and Greg, what
You
you
mean
guys
Paul?
up to?
Eloise and Paul, you mean?
Well, Paul is Greg.
Oh, yeah, Paul is
Greg.
Greg. Yep, true.
Greg.
Greg.
Eloise is pretty much just looking around, trying to figure out what these people are up to. What are they doing? Who are they? She's investigating.
Yeah, so you pretty much come upon the two group of people who are smoking, and they're kind of like have some money out in their hands, and they look like they're playing with dice. And as they're chatting, they're going back and forth, but they're kind of like, it's a good thing the boss figured out that this is such a lucrative deal, huh? The guy's like, yeah, it's an odd thing for you to bring up right here and now, but sure, I guess we can bring that up again. And it's pretty clever, getting these artifacts, making copies of it, selling it for large things of money, distributing amongst us po folk. It's pretty awesome. The other guy's like, yeah, it's weird that you're talking about this again, like right now. It's just, I think there's better things to talk about. Obviously, it's, you have a life. I'm curious what your hobbies are. We've really been hanging out here for just a couple weeks, and I feel like I know your name. I know what type of smokes you like, but I don't know. I just kind of want to get to know you a little bit more. Kind of what your likes, your interests in, and it just seems like every time I talk to you, you just want to tout how amazing this operation is and how much money you're getting, and how easy it is to just kind of bring these artifacts over and duplicate it, and like you said before, we've done this conversation before.
She figures the other guy is a spy.
You're like, someone here suspicious.
It's like,
All
I'm
right,
on you.
so they're stealing artifacts and selling them on the black market. Okay.
Not even the black market. It sounds like just regular markets. Just multiple times, because there's there really isn't like the a sophisticated system that allows the upkeep on artifacts on a worldwide basis. So if you can find someone who can replicate an artifact pretty well and then sell the idea of it, you could redo the same artifact and sell it to multiple museums, and everyone's like, yeah, I got the Holy Grail. They're like, no, you don't.
Or collectors who probably pay a lot more than museums do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any particular artifacts that they're unearthing, or is it just look like ancient Greek stuff that they're digging out?
So off to the side, there's a table with several artifacts, like stone tablets, a couple of like vases. One such kind of has a very peculiar look to it. It shines because it's this triangular thing of pure gold, and it looks like it was brought up recently because there's still kind of dirt etched into the different symbols, which is maybe some ancient Greek or something like that. It's really, I don't know how much Eloise knows concerning languages, but
it's shiny. She takes it.
You pick up this big thing and you're just like holding it like this, like
tries to stuff it under her shirt and under her hair, and then goes to try to find one of her responsible adults.
Yeah. And it's weird as you're like tucking this thing, it's poking out of your shirt and your hair. Like it's easily like about your size, especially in width, and about half your size in height. And like some of the guards are looking at you like,
The figment of imagination.
yeah, it's like hey Greg, is that as they kind of look around as you make your way out of this line of circles.
Yeah, I see Eloise do this, and basically I kind of walk her direction. I'm like, what are you doing?
This looks important. But it's covered in Greek, and I don't speak it.
All right, Eloise, I have a question. How big of a distraction can you cause if we need to get the professor and everybody out of here?
Will you blow up something?
Maybe not explosive, but more of like a big smoke bomb, maybe.
So an explosion.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And thus the atom bomb was remade.
No, it's the.
She'll pull out the gold thing, hand it to Paul. Dude, Greg.
Yeah, and it's heavy. You have no idea how this girl like has dragged this from across the. But hey, it's. Ugh.
And then head to their generator because you said it was night, so I assumed they got.
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of getting
they
late
got,
in
like,
the evening. Yeah, so
they
you
got,
kind of
they
hear
got
the
spotlights. It's all set up
Mhm.
with the generator. She'll head to the generator and she's gonna start mucking with it.
So I take this thing and put it into where electric is, and put it in the back of the Jeep, and kind of walk back that way.
Yeah, so Harry kind of pouring into the back of the Jeep under the tarp, you see this large triangular piece of gold with these glyphs on it. You're like,
I will drag it to a safe location in the back and secure it if I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grab my hands on the shovel and just kind of walk toward the two, like the one guy who's guarding the three ones are digging, and just kind of like sticking in the ground, kind of just give him a nod and watch the three digging.
all right. So Harry, did you want to kind of look over this curious piece?
If I had anything in the way of understanding such a thing, I do have languages at 45, but you said it was ancient Greek. So
Languages works. Yeah,
Okay.
you can still use languages.
If
Okay.
It'd be
if
Latin.
he's there if we're able to see it, I
Mhm.
do natively speak Greek.
So I
Mhm.
will do what I can to brush the dirt out of the writing that's on it.
Yeah, it's more a language test than just Greek. It's kind of its old kind of.
But I'll give it a try.
I'll give it a try as
And-
well since I do speak Greek.
Okay. My specialty bin everywhere only works for modern languages, and this is probably not one.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, I'll try languages. And I will fail miserably at it, so we'll just skip that. No, it's definitely all Greek to me. I have no idea what.
I love that. All Greek to me.
So
And we'll say with your failure, like just brushing off the dust and everything, you sneeze. Which you guys hear someone say, like, did anyone hear that? Coming from the tents.
I'm going to get out and go over to them and say, yeah, just some boys. Some blokes broke some stuff when they were moving it. You can't get you can't get good help these days. I was just gonna head over and see if they needed any another hand.
Yeah,
Maybe you two should go in and see if they could help.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's what I really say. Like, join the union. You know, we're kind of doing that right now. So if you're interested, you know, we can have a meeting.
Unionizing goons. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll join up.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, the boys though over there, they're struggling with some pieces. So maybe you could go down there and give them a hand. We need to get them
yeah.
loaded onto the truck.
Okay, yeah, sure. And they move off. And Paul or Greg, as you're kind of next to these four, they look like they're about done shoveling. They're kind of resting and drinking some water as they look at you. What do you do?
I'm waiting to see when Elise does what she does. And you said there's one guard basically watching these people digging. So if when something happens, he's gonna go shovel to the face, try to knock the guard out, at least distract them, and try to get forward to the Jeep.
Excellent. So it looks like Eloise is the catalyst for this adventure. So why don't you give me that science roll, and we'll see what abomination you bring into life here.
All right. I rolled 46 with a science of 65.
Woo! All right. What does this thing do now that it doesn't just generate power for lamps?
It's a giant UPM monster.
It makes smoothies.
Okay. Wow.
What do you make? Mecha Godzilla?
Basically, she wants to soup it up so that the lights. She wants to create a stuttering effect, so the lights will strobe and give everyone like It's an epilepsy weapon.
Excellent.
Epilepsy.
All right, so there's the signal as the lights go in and out, and some people run around, obviously scared. Other people just flop onto the ground, knocked out, while the prisoners look around in this scared, frantic manner. Paul, what do you do?
I was gonna say this: the guard that basically looking around, he kind of walks back right there and smacks him in the back of the head with a shovel.
All right, roll melee.
Yes. Ah. I'm sorry, sir, but you must go night-night.
Good night.
36.
Nice.
All
All right, yeah.
45.
Yeah, you tap him on the shoulder. He turns around, just boing, as he flops down like a plank of wood.
As he sees this, and I kind of I look at the forest and he's like, Professor, how you doing? And he looks at his his granddaughter, and he gives her a sly smile. I'm here to help. I have a friend of mine over at the Jeep that we need to leave now.
Why are you helping us, Greg?
He pulls out the wig. It's like, I'm not Greg. So we need to go now.
Professor, and all right. As he follows you, and the three others follow along with them as well. There's some gunfire as the people who are still up kind of shoot off into the distance, hoping to hit whatever the heck is going on. So everyone has piled into the back of this Jeep. Eloise, I assume, skips over and calls shotgun.
No, she just takes it.
She takes it without calling it. Like
He just hops in. It's like, that's to be expected.
So I start driving off.
All right. So this is because it's nighttime. There's not much lights out. There are goats menacingly looking at Harry, despite him being under the tarp.
We can smell him.
Yeah. So this is going to be a vehicles roll with a -2 pip.
Okay. I would like to point out that I am I'm not using my racing car right now, so that's cool. But that's fine. I'm born behind the wheel. Let's do it. -2 pip. 15. I don't even need to roll my rerolls or anything.
Perfect. Yeah. So you're swerving, and the people in the back of this Jeep, like you're moving back and forth and sliding across. I assume Harry's holding on to this golden artifact.
Yeah, I'm taking care of the granddaughter and just make sure she's safe.
Yeah, and the professor is trying to have a conversation with you, Harry. He's like, "Hey, Harry, how's it going?"
It's good to see you again, my friend. Oh, wow, watch out for that hole.
Yeah, and like you hear these goat screams in the night as you come up to the pier, and you finally kind of go over this hill, which puts you up into the air, and you slam back down. And as your lights illuminate in front of you, you see another pair of headlights kind of slam into the side of your car as you guys bump into each other heading to the pier. You see one of the people who were back at the tents kind of driving the wheel, smoking a cigarette, and he looks at you, Electra, with his eyes. He's like, and he throws his cigarette off into the night. So yeah, it is an opposed vehicle check. Sorry, go ahead, Harry.
I was going to get over to a position where I could bring my rifle into play.
Oh, heck yeah, you can do that too.
Shoot the tire out. Shoot the back tire.
Well, I'll take whatever shot I can get.
Go ahead.
You want me to do that now?
Yeah.
I will do that now.
And Electra, make me another vehicle test. No pips. This is just an opposed test against his.
Okay.
I'm going to spend for reroll this time.
All right.
Okay, my range combat is 45. I rolled a 40.
Nice. Where are you aiming at?
I'm probably going to have to go for a tire because this rifle is not very high caliber. So.
All right.
Yeah, I will go for a tire, preferably one on whatever side is closest to the vehicle.
Perfect. And what's the damage on that?
Let me see. Rifle. It says 7DX.
Excellent. Yeah. So you're gonna roll 7 6-sided dice.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Yeah, and what you're looking for are 4, 5, and 6 are successes. That's how much damage you have. 6 is
Hey,
explode.
the commemorative throwing the dice on the floor thing. Okay.
So
There
I
we
have
go.
a question. What does flip a task check mean?
Flip a task means you flip the numbers.
Oh, I would
so
just
72 to 27.
Okay, I would just flip the numbers then because I got an 81, so I would drop it to an 18. That way
Perfect.
I don't have to spend for a reroll. Okay.
Excellent.
So I go from
Okay, I'm
81 to 18.
Okay. And I'm looking for what again on the d6s?
4, 5, or 6 are
Okay.
damage.
Okay, I've got 4 dice that fall in that category.
All right, and 6s explode for damage as well. So if you have a
I
6,
did not
you
roll no 6s, just
All right.
4 and 3 5s.
All right, excellent. Paul, what were you about to say?
Well, what is depending on what happens with Harry, if he doesn't, what Paul does, he still has a shovel next to him. What he's gonna do, he's gonna flip out on top of the Jeep and crawl up to it. And so, is the Jeep driver's side on the left side or the right side?
The right side.
Is that the
The
same?
Greek
Is
scribe
that,
on the right.
The
that-
European side.
So
Mhm.
what he plans to do is that he's gonna climb up to it, sees the guy other driving, and he's gonna basically spear the shovel into the window of the other guy and see if he can lock up the steering wheel and kind of.
All right. So you go ahead.
What are they driving?
It's the same Jeep.
Okay, so I would like to point out I was born behind a wheel. I can spend 2 points right now to, as long as I'm driving on, I can spend 2 points to do a stunt that would require me driving on 2 wheels. So at this point, while they're trying to do this, I am going to literally drive over their Jeep.
All right, so
Oh
perfect. We are in this crazy scene. Paul gets up heroically, the wind going past his lovely sleazy locks of hair, cigarette in mouth.
Yep, pretty much.
The car kind of pops up on 2 wheels, resting upon
He's like,
the other car, and the guy is kind of like looking at Electra like, what the, and it kind of forces him onto this little ramp of a hill, which flips crazily both cars as they both turn around like that, and it's during this kind of corkscrew that Harry is able to aim his rifle, pop out a shot, and when the car comes back down, slamming down on the tire, there's a pop
Ooh.
as the thing just.
Can he shoot it so that it actually shoots the undercarriage where the oil and such would be, since it's flipped up at the time?
Harry, do you want to do that?
It's 4 damage.
Sure,
You know, he could
let's do that.
Yeah.
The gas.
I just, with all that revealed. Awesome.
That's perfect. Yeah. So like Paul's like, I want to be a part of. Okay, that's it. That's awesome. As the guy like flies out of the vehicle and it explodes in the sky. The lights are kind of illuminating the place around you. The goats nod towards Harry as he displays his dominance concerning his martial capabilities and his proficiency in war. As you guys finally pull up to the coast side of the island, and you see your boats. One of the assistants has soiled himself. The other guy is hyperventilating. The professor looks fine. He's even like has a little smile on his face, and he's like, "Hey, just like the old days, right?"
Just like the war, yes.
And Elena's just kind of like nonchalantly, like another bored day, as she pops out of the back of the vehicle.
I'm really glad I tagged my overconfident earlier for those 3 story points, because I'm back down to
Yeah.
1. But that was totally worth it. I was like,
That
it
was
seems like I
awesome.
could I'll want to spend some later. That's awesome.
Oh man, I would love to do that shove maneuver just to kind of see if that would have been funny. You go, I can't move it. It's like
Next time. Gadget.
Well, he just jumps down, had the shovel still in hand. It's like, I'm gonna keep this thing. It's useful.
All right, so I assume you guys are heading back with the superboat.
Yes.
Yes.
The super boat.
It's a little bit more difficult coming back than it was coming forward.
Can we act as
you
a tugboat to tug the bad boat back?
It's really kind of the occupancy level has increased, and you have a what amounts to a sports car trying to tow a trailer.
Okay.
So you have that power, but there's not a lot of torque, which makes Electra's job infinitely more difficult and necessary on the trip back.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget his boat. Screw it. It's Paul's friend. We'll let him deal with it.
Yeah, well, you see, as it's talking to, Paul has this big burlap sack he has on back of him when he walks in, and he walks to the side of the boat and sits down on top of it. It's like, all right, we're ready to go.
Yeah, in Eloise, you definitely know, like, every couple of seconds, the engine might just blow up, but, hey, Electra's on it, so you're fine. Probably
She's
fine.
all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Pour some water on it; it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's really all you need to fix an engine as such. But you guys make it back, and it's it's probably around 12 now as you come back to the pier. The professor kind of sighs and says, "Thank you, Harry. I'm glad you were able to get here and to get us out of there. That was something."
Oh, us old army blokes, we have to stick together after all.
We do. It feels like sometimes, even though we escaped the war, we still find ourselves in the middle of conflict.
Mm-hmm. We should report this business to the authorities immediately.
Yeah, I agree. We've been through an ordeal. It's going to be a long night, but I really owe everyone everything. You saved myself, and you saved my daughter, and my 2 interns, and they're kind of like,
one kind of sold himself. I'm like,
yeah.
that's like, I think the young man right there might need to change his trousers.
About now, it's it's on the boat. It really could just be explained as water. So you guys head over to the local police station, I assume. Who wants to do the talking?
Oh.
Well, Electra speaks Greek.
Yeah, well, that me. I'm gonna excuse myself from this scene because
You're like, man.
my bad reputation.
And leave the gold thing.
Aren't
leave
you
the gold.
the charmer though? Aren't you the person who's charming?
Well, that is that my complication, the bad reputation. I can get 6 star
okay.
points.
So you're not that charming. Got it. Get out of here. We'll hide you in the storage compartment of the boat.
Yeah, not charming to policemen.
No, he just sits there. He's in the. He kind of hides himself. He puts his new choir in the back of the back of the Range Rover.
My take on the idea is the professor probably knows the most about this situation, and of course I will support him with my sterling reputation as being a member of the peerage.
Excellent. I think
will support him as well.
Yeah, I think with those 3 kind of reputations, you guys are solid for this endeavor. So whoever wants to take lead, you can make a charm test or a basic test, but you have a +5 for Pip.
Well, unless somebody else wants it, the good news is I've got a story point available, so I can flip it if I need to.
I have a question. Do Pips stack?
They come together, but they don't go above 5.
Darn it. Because if they went above 5, I'd be like, I should do this because I could get us up a lot right now.
Like +10 Pip. Yeah.
Not quite,
All right, well,
not quite.
I'm going to roll straight up on the 15%, and hopefully I roll a 5
right.
somewhere along the way.
Before you roll that.
Whoops, okay. Before I roll that.
We are dealing with red tape.
Ah, yes.
So,
red tape will be perfect for this. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you have it, so then you can roll it. Just make sure that you flip it. Huh?
I don't have red tape, but I have the ability to flip it if I need to.
Yeah, exactly. The flip the red tape. You have been everywhere. So you have it too, so you can go ahead and finish your roll. Sorry, I just wanted to make.
Okay. I will roll it. Oh, and hello. Rolled an 4
nice.
again. On
Nice.
separate set of dice, I swear I'm using different dice. On another skills of 15. So the 4 would put it in the pips anyway.
Yeah, so you're
You're
good.
Yes.
Yeah, so it takes a couple hours. Obviously, they kind of have to take everyone down, take their notes, but it's obviously you guys are on the side of the law, and they commend you for doing such great work in helping to protect the artifacts of this wonderful city. They did say that they will ensure that the place is pretty much investigated, and they'll take it from here. Any other updates you might have, just bring it to the police station. But the city's in your debt.
Mm. One loose end, Professor. It wouldn't
Mhm.
happen to have been any of those people happen to be named Richards, would they?
Yes, there was Richards. He was in the bigger tent. He seemed to be funding it, but there's just something about the woman he was with, a Mrs. Gray. Um, she seemed like a confidant, but I don't know. I always suspected she was actually pulling the strings on him. For what ends, I can't even guess at, but she seemed to be of the world and in dealing with things way beyond what was occurring here.
Hmm. All right. Well, just curious.
Well, the least I can do is provide you room and board, as well as a spot of tea and maybe a bit of tobacco for maybe for a couple more hours till we get some shut eye and make breakfast in the morning. You still take your eggs over easy?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. All right, then I'll make sure you're taken care of, Harry. As always, he kind of claps you on the back. It's good to see you.
Very good to see you too, and Alexandros.
And Elena kind of just like fist bumps Electra, like,
Thanks for the note. When we're alone, thanks for the note.
thank you. Like I figured like we would be dead if I didn't do something. So I'm
I'm just
glad.
glad I remembered that we had our little hiding hole from when we were kids.
Yeah, after this, I feel like I'm just gonna maybe take a break from this whole art stuff. Maybe I don't know, maybe travel with you sometime. I don't really get to visit you often, so maybe see the world
Uh,
a little bit.
VIP passes all the way. You can be part of my pit crew. If you want? Well, part of my crew. Not not in the pit, but
I might like the pit crew. That actually might be interesting.
come join me then. Let's travel the world together.
That sounds perfect. As you guys leave the police station, you guys notice several pictures of Paul like on the wall next to several others with like several amount awards underneath it for capture. If anyone's
Okay.
into that.
Never saw him.
So we're gonna end on one final scene, and as everyone kind of enjoys their night, Electra and Elena are back in their bedroom, kind of talking and staying up and imagining the travels and adventures that they'll go on. Eloise is of course included in there, but
Yes.
probably tinkering with some contraption that should not be tinkering with.
And eating all the complimentary baklava.
Yeah. Going into depths of science that no man should ever dive into. Paul, what are you? Because you're kind of a little bit outside, but nonetheless, you have a space on the couch.
So as this is going on, he actually, with the golden acquire they got with the artifact, he kept that with him, and he called up an old friend of his. It's like, my friend, I acquired a nice artifact, so he's looking to see what he can get off of it.
Excellent. So do you bring it into the home of the professor, or do you just leave it in the Range Rover?
He's debating about it, and he thinks it over, and he's like, oh well. He comes in and like basically looks at the professor and says, "Sit down. You hear a big clink," Yeah, but it's like, Professor, I believe you might have found this, but at least pick this up and yeah.
At least pick that up. Interesting. And as he approaches it, pipe in hand, of course, Harry is by him, probably with another pipe too. He kind of dusts off some of the bits of dust and dirt, and he gasps as he turns to Harry. It's the road. It's the guide. My God, Harry. Atlantis. And then we end with credits.
Because Atlantis is like, oh, the money I can make.
Hey Blades! Thank you so much for watching another Babies with Knives video. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Go follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and come join the conversation in our Discord server.
If you want to keep content like this coming, come check out our Patreon and consider subscribing. All links for this is provided in the description below. And remember, come back next time to get honed!